Oh my god. Oh, wow, y'all. Bro, this is an absolute shocker for me. A multiple, like, for multiple ways, man. I cannot believe how well the Bulls performed, like, even in that first half. But then to, like, absolutely, like, almost dominate that entire second half is just insane. Like, the Bulls did so well. In that second half that I was just like, man, it feels like almost like the normal guys are here and like they're just like on a hot run, but it's like I'm watching Yuki Kawamura be like one of the best players in the fourth quarter for the Bulls. That was just insane to just witness. But it almost feels like it's good. Like it feels like this is just one of those wins to me where I'm like, yeah, like, you know, Vooch didn't like carry us to victory. The young guys, like, if we're gonna include like even Io in this sort of like idea, like they did a hell of a job. Buzelis, like, I understand the 8 turnovers like look horrendous, but like he still was very, very productive today. And the Heat very clearly have more of their regulars compared to the Bulls. Like, this is actually like a very, very impressive win from everybody involved. So major props to these guys. I won't lie, man. My calculations of how the Bulls are gonna have to like view Dosunmu just continues just to change because, like, tonight, I think that tonight was like the first time, honestly, all season long, and maybe you can argue maybe one of those like Trey Jones games, but tonight felt like the first time in a long time that I was like, yeah, the Bulls actually have a go-to guy tonight. Like, in the crunch time tonight, I knew the ball was going to Dosunmu, and I'm like, all right, just run a simple pick and roll, or he like decides to drive it by himself. And he was doing everything. Like, it legitimately felt like every time Io had the ball in his hands, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm just let him go. And he would just pull up off of like a little handoff and drain the 3 in Miami's face. And he had a great hesitation dribble to get a layup. Like, and then we saw the 2 assists to Buzelis at the end of the game, where obviously one was off the jump ball, but then he drove and kicked it out to Buzelis with about 36 seconds left, and Buzelis hit the 3. Like, that felt like the first time in forever that I'm like, wow, the Bulls actually have like a go-to guy in crunch time, and Dosunmu did everything. To hitting pull-up 3-point shots, to driving hard in the half court and making like layups over Bam Adebayo of all people, to running on the fast break and doing a hesitation move that completely got Drew Smith all over the place, and he went up and laid it in, to then even passing it to finding his open teammates at the proper time. And it was like genuinely like everything that I could ever ask for someone to take over in the fourth quarter. I was just stunned. I was genuinely just stunned just watching how this Bulls team, one, stayed in the game. That third quarter was insane with the 3-point shooting, but to see them like basically in that fourth quarter where some things went wrong, right? We saw Andrew Wiggins hit that 3-point shot in the corner, but also got fouled by Buzelis. Like, that was bad by Buzelis. But like the Heat are like staying with them. It's a close game, and Io took over. Like, it just was like, wow, I cannot believe that the Bulls are gonna pull this one off. Yeah, man, Dosunmu's like, his value to me all of a sudden, like, and this is coming from me out of all people again, like, this is me who's like been an avid Dosunmu fan for a long time, since he's pretty much been here. Like, I've been humongously a big fan of Dosunmu. Like, my calculations of him are just like, I'm like, bro, if the Bulls truly aren't gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna actually rebuild here, I think they're gonna actually just have to keep him at this point, because I mean, again, no one's ever untouchable. Luka Doncic got traded, for God's sake, so no one's ever untouchable. And I think that even with how great Dosunmu has played, like, I think everybody on this Bulls team has a price. But like, my price all of a sudden for him now is like it's skyrocketing high. Like, at this point, again, if the Bulls aren't going to be rebuilding, which, you know, I think like that would probably be the proper thing right now, then you might actually just have to keep this guy, because I mean, it honestly just kind of seems like that the only thing holding him back right now is just his role on this Bulls team. Dosunmu has taken over in the fourth quarter like in the last 3 games. Like even in the L's against the Pacers and in the most recent Heat game before tonight, like DeSumo has taken over in those games. Like he took over in that Pacers game when it was just like driving constantly into the teeth of the defense and finishing. He was the only guy that was able to score like in like the last like 6 minutes of that Heat game, or what was it? No, sorry, it was like the last like 3.5 minutes, I should say. Sorry, it was the final timeout or final usual break we usually get. And DeSumo was the reason why we got even close in that game. And he scored a career high 15 points in that quarter. And this game, like in the last like 4 minutes, it was just him. Like it was all just him. I'm like, what the hell am I watching? This is like superstar stuff that we're used to seeing. Like this is like the stuff I'm used to seeing Damian Lillard do in his like typical times of just like, yeah, it's Dame time. Like I can pull up and hit the 3 in your face. I can beat you off the dribble and finish effectively at the rim. And I could also then obviously find my teammates off a simple pick and roll action. Like I was stunned just watching how good Io was playing. Yeah, this is nuts, man. It's honestly insanely, like, it's cool to see this, obviously, but it's just so shocking because, like, even myself didn't think Io was ever gonna be this good. That's a superstar stat line tonight, and the impact alone just from off the eye test tonight was like, that was superstar. This was superstar efficiency, 11 of 16 from the field after he started the game 1 for 6. And he just took over. Wow, man. I cannot believe this. Yeah, I mean, Bulls shot obviously tremendously better. They shot 39% in the first Heat game, and they shoot 52% tonight. 23s made. Oh, sorry, I hit my wrong button. 23s made. They shot 8 of 12, I believe, in that third quarter, which was just nuts just to witness. But their efficiency was honestly significantly better throughout the entire game compared to obviously that last Heat game. Miami is missing some guys. Like I think Davion Mitchell is like it's like kind of an important piece for them. And obviously Norman Powell is their leading scorer. But the Bulls had 7 guys out tonight. No guys from their backcourt. Vucevic is out. He's resting tonight. I don't understand honestly that call. Jalen Smith and Trey Jones are both out. And obviously Noah Senga is out, but again, it didn't matter. Like we had 3 20-point scorers tonight, and a guy that almost put up a triple double on 11 of 16 shooting. Wow, man. Good on Viper Check. Was that the best P-Will game in the year? Also, it's up there in terms of like one of his better games, I think. There was definitely still some moments that were still pretty like awful from him. Like he tried to force some shots, but I think that first quarter was probably the best quarter of the year by Patrick Williams. Like that first quarter was very solid from him. He hit a couple threes, played some nice defense, got some rebounds, right? I think after that it was kind of like it was a little bit kind of just back down to earth of like, yeah, this is still bad P-Will, but that first quarter alone, though, is definitely going to put him up there in terms of, like, this season's, like, one of his better games for sure. And I appreciate that from Pat. Like, he's starting at center. It's not his usual position, and he came out and, you know, did his job for a quarter at least. You know, it's a low bar, but, I mean, after last game for Pat, like, I'll take anything at this point for Patrick Williams. just like, give me a decent, like, you know, little rotational stint, and he did a good job to start the game, so I appreciate that from him. Yeah, good job from Pat with his rebounding early on in the game. After that, it was a little bit rough, I won't lie. He kind of got bullied a little bit, but it's okay. The eye of the storm, man. I know, man. It's insane. This team defies explanation. I honestly don't know how the Bulls did it tonight, but besides just Io becoming a superstar. The obvious question now for Io is like, I mean, it's 3 games in a row now for Io where it's like he's taken over in that fourth and given us like a very good stretch of just like productive, like consistent scoring and finding ways to actually get some points. And so it's like, obviously, like, okay, well, you know, can you go and do this again tomorrow? Like, that would truly be a test tomorrow because, you know, he played a lot of minutes tonight. He's not usually playing this many minutes every game. He's coming off the bench for most of the season, and just had probably his best game of the season. So it'll definitely be like a major test for him. But I think either way, though, just with how well Io has played all season long, like, I am definitely, if I'm, again, I think that no matter what, you got to trade Kobe here. And that's not even me saying for like if you're thinking rebuild. Like I think even if you're like trying to think, oh, the Bulls should be like still trying to like go and win every day, like he's still got to trade Kobe. And honestly, a big reason why is just because how well Ayo Dosunmu has played this season. Because if you're gonna pay him, like you're probably not gonna be willing to pay Kobe also, you know, a lot of money, right? I'm not saying that Ayo's gonna like suddenly like be the starting shooting guard next season, but no matter what, he is going to be at the bare minimum the sixth man, and he's been a very effective sixth man this season. So, I mean, there's six men, obviously, that get paid a good chunk of money. And if he's, you know, closing games, which we've seen him do this season, even when everyone's fully healthy, because he just has played so well, like, you know, he's going to get a good chunk of money. So, I really do think that no matter what, the Bulls do need to trade Kobe here, and Ayo might have just pushed Kobe out, honestly, which is how well he's played. It's honestly just insane just to witness right now. I mean, Ayo came into tonight. I don't know. I don't think the stats updated yet, but maybe I could check here. But like, yeah, he came in tonight averaging this many points per game on 44% three-point shooting on a career high attempts per game, and 51.2% from the field, which would be second highest of his career. But Ayo's always been like a very efficient like guard. Like he's always been around like 50% no matter what. But like this is still just honestly just crazy just to witness. Like there has truly been in this January. I know Basketball Reference won't have tonight's game, but this January has been pretty good from him, man. Like it has been a very, very solid month for Ayo. Again, I'm not saying like I'm not like fully yet to be like, oh yeah, like he should be like starting like, you know, from here on out, but he's making a damn good case. Where's January? Yeah, I mean he's averaging 16 points per game in January on 54% shooting, like at 47% from 3-point range. Like holy shit, that's damn good efficiency, and some pretty productive scoring overall. It's his highest scoring month of this season. The beginning of the year, he also will start out really hot, which makes a lot of sense what we're seeing here. But yeah, it's been a damn good month for him. Heat Matas, Ayo, and the Giddler. I mean, I think that might honestly have to be the case after tonight. I still do think, yeah, again, like I think that the proper thing, even if you're all in on like the Bulls shouldn't be tanking or shouldn't be rebuilding, like you still need to make some moves here. I do think that still taking a step back at this trade deadline is still probably the right decision. But yeah, man, I mean, if you're gonna consider Ayo your next shooting guard, I mean, it's honestly something to think about. Looking forward to a loss day. I mean, that's honestly what I was expecting. Like, just in all senses, it's like, yeah, the Bulls probably just gonna lose today. I honestly didn't understand why Vucevic was not playing today. Like, I was like very confused why Vucevic decided to rest today, when the Bulls already had 6 other guys out. Like, it made no sense to me. But sure, Vuce, like we'll just give you a rest day, I guess. But yeah, they pulled it off. So, which means that probably the Bulls do lose tomorrow. I'd be kind of shocked if they did win it, but we'll see. Yeah, I almost had a triple-double. I and Matas both almost had triple dubs. Yeah, so Matas obviously not as close, 4 assists only, but like even again, like even with the 8, I guess the 8 turnovers was almost a triple-double for Matas. I guess I get the joke, but like I do think that even with the 8 turnovers for Matas, like this is still like a fine performance from him. Again, productive from the field overall. Still got 8 rebounds, right? Still put up 21 points and like not horrendous shooting. This, you know, 7 of 15 has been kind of what he's done a lot this season. To shoot 7 of 15 from the field, that's solid. Like I'll take that. He's hit multiple threes in a lot of games, including tonight. He's hit a 3 in the last 22 games. Like it's been very solid from Buzelis. The 8 turnovers obviously it was the big like eyesore tonight, and I honestly I'm just so like I'm so adamant about this. Like if Buzelis just got more on-ball opportunities at the start of this season, I don't think he has 8 turnovers tonight. Like I think that he's more ready for the defense to really be have active hands against him, to have like 3 defenders try to strip the ball from him. Like I do think that he would have been more ready for the Miami defense to swarm him and be ready to pass it off or to have some counters to that sort of defense. Because Miami obviously all night was like trying to strip the ball from him, on ball or off ball. Like even with that being said, though, he still had a very productive game. Like 21 points and 8 rebounds is still a very productive game. And again, not terrible shooting. Like 7-15 shooting is pretty solid. So I actually think that tonight's like a big win tonight for Matas' just overall development. Like he had a really rough game when it came to some of his ball handling, but this is the type of growing pains he's going to have to go through for him to take that next step. And even with all these issues he had tonight, he still gave me 21 and 8 on good overall efficiency. This is totally fine for me what he did today. I know a lot of people are probably pissed off at the 8 turnovers, and I think you have every right to be pissed off, but like I just can't stress enough how much I've been asking for Buzelis to have the ball more, just so that we can get some of these Kings like that we saw tonight out of the way. Because the last thing that I want to see is Mata suddenly, he's gonna have turnover issues, in like his year 5 season. Check Shams, we got a trade. Oh my god, we have a trade live. Oh my god, the Bulls are part of a trade. Holy shit. Okay, I did not think the Bulls gonna actually make a trade, but hey, we're part of a trade. Let's see. All right, ads are off for the next like 10 minutes. Let's see here. Cleveland Cavaliers should trade DeAndre Hunter to the Sacramento Kings for Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. 3-team deal includes the Chicago Bulls acquiring Forrest Dario Saric and 2 future second-round picks. Okay, I need to just... I'm gonna wait to see if there's any more involved here, because I'm gonna assume there's gonna be more involved. But if the Bulls just took a salary dump, I'm pretty happy if they just took a salary dump. If they just took on Saric and got 2 future second-round picks out of it, like, awesome. My only thing, though, is that I'm gonna guess that someone's going back, because the Bulls obviously have a full overall roster. And the money, so Cavs turn Hunter's slot into a backcourt depth and create $50 million in salary and tax savings this season. Kings receive an established 3-and-D wing under contract and roster flexibility, including converting two-way Dylan Cardwell to a standard deal. So then Saric truly was just a salary dump? Is that what I'm seeing here? The Bulls probably used the Zach LaVine trade exception that they have on this deal, I'm gonna assume. But if this is truly just a salary dump, awesome. Like, Bulls did a proper thing tonight if they did that. Sorry, I should have went to the Kings. Let me just see. Sorry, where's Sarge? Okay, yeah, Sarge, he is making $5 million. The Bulls, that Zach LaVine trade exception would take care of that with what was left remaining. Where is it? God, sorry, hold on. Where is... Overview. Where are our exceptions? Okay. Yeah, so the LaVine trade exception still had $6 million left remaining. And so, I mean, I guess we could have also done the non-taxpayer mid-level exception as this, but I would hate to use that right now. I would love to keep that for later. But, let's see. This honestly seems really good. So that means that the Bulls just acquired Saric with the Zach LaVine trade exception here. And they got 2 future second-round picks out of this deal because the Kings had to make a salary dump. That's good with me. That sounds solid. I just gotta wait, though. Like, I'm gonna wait to see if maybe someone else is going back. I don't think so, though. Like, I think this is honestly just a salary dump. And the Bulls actually took advantage of an actual trade exception. Awesome. It's about damn time if the Bulls actually took advantage of a trade exception that they have and actually used it. Wow. All right. Okay, hold on. Let's check Casey Johnson just in case here. Let's see if there's any sort of details that we're missing, maybe. Okay, I mean, this is Casey Johnson's most recent tweet. So, yeah. I mean, that's what it just seems like. It's actually no one's going back for the Bulls. I was I was maybe like interested in seeing like Javon Carter would go back because I knew the money would work. But all right, yeah. So I'm gonna guess we just waive Saric. That would be my guess. The Bulls have the money just to waive Saric. Like, they're not that close to the tax or anything like that, so they can do this and be totally fine. And they wouldn't be in the luxury tax. It would be dead money on the books, but I mean the Bulls have to waive somebody here, right? But as you see, the Bulls had $18 million. Sorry, that's not correct. They had $13 million before they even hit the luxury tax. So, yeah, like, if it's truly just a salary dump, we're just going to waive Saric's however much money it was again. I completely forgot. Sorry. And we got 2 second-round picks out of the deal. Hey, awesome job. Maybe things are actually looking up here, and we're actually doing the proper things here in Chicago. Wow. All right. I honestly couldn't be happier right now just to kind of see that, where the Bulls actually receive draft compensation. For once in our lifetime, we're actually seeing this front office actually receive draft compensation, and they're like not trading anything like valuable out. Like, they're just like, yeah, we'll take a salary dump here. Sure. Awesome. Let's see. Okay, so this Dylan Cardwell is going to become an actual NBA contract, it looks like. Wow, yeah, I mean, you're on top of it, Viper Strike. I appreciate that. Thank you for notifying me, because I definitely was not going to look at Twitter during this stream. Yeah, wow, I cannot believe this. So, Underdog, you said, Underdog NBA put the details. Okay, let's just double check to see if there's anything else. But it just honestly seems like a salary dump, which is very solid. Let's see here, Underdog. Yeah. Okay, wow. So this honestly seems like the full details here. So we obviously need to figure out which picks that are going to be coming back in return here. I'm going to have to wait for Shams to release his full article that he usually does for any trade. Because this, as much as this doesn't maybe seem too big, obviously on the Bulls end, right? Because we're just basically just receiving Saric and 2 second-round picks. This is obviously a big trade overall because the Cavaliers, they've kind of recovered recently, but Hunter's been kind of like a disappointment for them this year. he's kind of struggled, and so Lonzo Ball, unfortunately for them, also has really struggled this season. He has been really atrocious with his overall shooting, and so they go ahead and get their backup point guard, I guess, in Dennis Schroeder, who definitely helps. I do think that Schroeder can definitely help some of their guard play off the bench, because I can definitely tell Cleveland's missing Ty Jerome this season. So I think this definitely is going to help them. And then they also get Keon Ellis in this deal, who is going to help bolster their perimeter defense, which they definitely need. I will say, though, that their wing kind of overall depth doesn't look the best after this trade. So this is quite interesting, honestly, just to kind of see that. But I mean, either way, you're getting both Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis in this deal. For the Kings side, yet again, I don't know what they're doing. I feel like you could have properly used both Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder to go and trade for some draft compensation. And the Kings, obviously, like, they've been awful all season. And so to see them trade both Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder for DeAndre Hunter, which is definitely more of a win now move, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, this trade makes no sense for them, I think. There might be another move coming after this, but I am very shocked to honestly see this from them. Keon Ellis has been like a guy on the trade block for a long time now at this point, because he would fit in with a lot of contending teams. And so, I'm not sure what exactly you would get for him, but I do think that he could have gotten you some more future assets in return, instead of this. Schroeder's kind of had a weird year. It's been kind of on and off in terms of like his production, but again, a guy that was very impactful for the Detroit Pistons last season. So I definitely thought you could have traded him for, again, future compensation, like future assets in some sort of fashion. And so to make this move work, I guess, is because honestly, I'm honestly kind of confused why the Kings even had to do this then. Like, wait, why? Because they're already trading 2 players out in this deal. They're receiving 1. They traded Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis, and they're receiving Hunter, so that's 2 for 1 already. And then they're bringing in Dylan Cardwell up, so that opens up a roster spot. But why did they dump Saric then? I'm like very confused why they thought it was necessary to dump him. I guess I need to see maybe the full overall contract details, because were they too close to the tax or something? Like, that might have honestly been it, and just this makes sure that they stay under the tax this season. But I'm honestly very confused why the Kings did this. But for the Bulls, hey, this is good. Like, you did a good job with this. Very clearly the Kings need to get rid of Saric, and they're looking to find a way to just salary dump him. And the Bulls have a trade exception that was made in the Zach LaVine trade. They unfortunately had to use part of it on the Lonzo Ball and Isaac Okoro deal, just due to how Lonzo's contract was structured. So unfortunately we had to use part of that Zach LaVine trade exception on the Lonzo Ball deal, or to receive Isaac Okoro in return. But we still had about $6 million left over, and so now the Bulls went ahead and they just went ahead and took Saric's contract and had to give up nothing. So that Saric contract absolutely just goes right into that Zach LaVine trade exception, which was soon to be expired, so like very soon. So the Bulls did this legitimately in like the nick of time. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm assuming we're gonna waive Saric here. I'm gonna assume that he's gonna probably want to go and play for some sort of contender, but good job. I don't know why the Kings did this, honestly, and so that's the reason why I'm still kind of waiting to see here if, like, do we get like any more like notice of something. But yeah, this seems good. I give this a big thumbs up from me. We did good. Wow. All right. Hopefully AK and Co have finally come to their senses and are actually doing this properly, where they're scouting the overall trade market and seeing teams that need to maybe salary dump and are trying to kind of help facilitate some of these 3-team deals, or some of these other deals, and can maybe like chime in here. And they did a good job. They took advantage of their trade exception that was soon to expire. I'll even show you how close it was to expiring, actually. Let's check this. Let's hope actually Spot Trek has not used it. Okay, yeah, perfect. So yeah, as you see here, this trade exception was set to expire on February 3rd. So it was basically it's either you use it or you lose it, right? It's just, if you don't end up using it, the money's gone. And so they had $6 million left remaining. Good job. You end up using it fully. So very impressed. I'm actually like impressed, because I don't trust this front office to do things like this, but we're doing good. This is actually a good job. Let's see here. What the fuck is that? Oh, Saric was a very, like, when it was him and Malcolm Brogdon, like, in their rookie years, like, it was between those two as, like, for rookie of the year. Saric is, like, in his time, he was, like, actually, like, a pretty, like, solid, like, backup big, but as he's aged, hasn't exactly gone too well. Not great defense. He can kind of shoot it, but he's nothing really too special here. But I will say, I'm interested to see if the Bulls do anything, because like Sarge is playable, I think. Granted, I haven't really watched him in a while, but like I do think that he might, no, maybe not. Maybe he's just not playable at all, honestly. I mean, he's, oh god. I'm gonna hope that the Bulls like don't like, I mean, again, I'm all for if you want to trade Jalen Smith or like Zach Collins or even Vucevic, obviously, at this point. But I'm gonna hope like we don't like look at Sarge as like, yeah, he's like our backup big of the future or something like that. I don't think that we need to do that. Like now this is gonna like spark like another move here to trade one of our bigs. But I think we're just gonna waive him. I'm gonna hope, at least. Never thought I would see the day Carter show us value second round picks. I know, man. Like, this is crazy. This is honestly something I've been hoping to see, and it finally happened at this deadline. We actually did it. Okoro's been really good this season. I think the Zoe Okoro is straight up a Bulls win as of right now. So as of like in terms of how they're playing, I do think that right now the Bulls are obviously like in the lead. Like Lonzo's been absolutely treacherous this season. It's still just like I think, unfortunately, just the way that I look at it is that, like, we knew the Bulls were offered a first for Lonzo at the deadline last season, and the fact that we didn't accept that to me still bothers me. I still would have taken a first over Okoro, even though I think Okoro recently, once Okoro got back from that back injury that he had, I think he's honestly been pretty solid. Before that, though, I was still pretty upset with him. I understand he still needed to get time to acclimate to the team, but his production, even during times of like trying to get up to speed with the rest of the team, it was still lacking for a starter. But recently, I do think that he's been pretty solid, and I do appreciate that. I still think the Bulls can upgrade over him, though. Like, as good as that he's maybe has played recently, like, I talked about the Bulls going after Peyton Watson in the offseason. Like, just to be honest, like, I'm still think the Bulls can very seriously upgrade over him if that is what they're going for. But, yeah, I do think, though, that all things considered right now, the Bulls, I guess, have won that trade, for at the time being, at least. The money for next season for Okoro is not ideal. Like, I'm not saying it's, like, a lot of money. I'm just saying it's just not, like, it's just not ideal to have his money on the books next season right now. I know it's not too much, but I would have liked to have seen more cap space, personally. But it's not the worst thing in the world at this point. 2029 second from Sac, 2027 from Cleveland per Will Gottlieb. Okay, thank you for that, Razi. I appreciate that update. Okay, so let's go ahead and look up the next thing that we always like to do here. So I'm gonna assume that this honestly hasn't updated yet, which is totally fine, but maybe it has. These guys are usually on top of things, but yeah, okay, this hasn't updated yet. So here's the Bulls' current draft situation before the trade, all right? Obviously, we have all of our first-round picks. If the Portland pick is not in the lottery, we would get it in either of these seasons. If it does not convey, which means that Portland did not make the playoffs in every one of these seasons, that means it becomes a second-round pick in 2028. But as you can see, no second-round picks currently for this upcoming draft, and none as of before the trade in 2027 either, which well, unfortunately that's still bad for the Bulls. But they go ahead and get two second round picks in this deal. So one is 2029 from Sacramento, from what Razi said here. Let's see. All right, so this pick here is very clearly not it's not Sacramento's own pick, so that does lower its value a little bit. It's also the least favorable of Detroit, Milwaukee, and New York, which, I mean, I guess we won't know exactly where all these teams are going to lie in 2029, but it is basically the least favorable of these. So as you can see here, Sacramento's own 2029 second round pick is going to Houston, but we get this pick, it looks like. So it's not going to be like a high probably pick, if assuming that or I guess Milwaukee could be pretty bad, but all three of these teams would have to be like pretty bad for us to be like higher in the second round. But again, we get the least favorable of the three here, so it's not really exactly like we're gonna be like really tracking records, honestly, because I'm gonna assume at least one of those teams is gonna be good, and that's the pick we're gonna get. And then the other one is gonna be 2027 Cleveland, according to Razi here. So let's go ahead and look at that and just maybe see what exactly we got. And it seems like it's going to be from Denver. So we get 2027 Denver's second round pick, which I also don't expect to be that high. So unfortunately, the Bulls do not like get like projected like top 40 like second round pick or something like that. But either way, though, I'm still very happy that we did this. This is a very solid use of your trade exception that was soon to expire in about 3 days. And you're actually adding to your draft capital, which is something the Bulls have desperately needed to do. Even if it is second round picks, I still think that this is a good overall decision by the Bulls. So I'm just gonna hope they're not just gonna go do something stupid after this, like, because I just praised them for once, and I know a lot of people have been asking me to praise this Bulls team and their decisions, but I'm finally giving them some praise, like, and for multiple reasons, not just because like you got draft capital, but you also use your expiring trade exception that was going to expire in a couple of days. Like, this is a good job. I just hope now they don't go do something stupid, and I'm back here saying like, oh god, wow, all right, well, we're still the same old Bulls. and we're still just being stupid at the end of the day. So, either way, though, good job. I think this is pretty solid. So, just to be clear one more time, if the Bulls go ahead and do decide to just waive Dario Saric, because again, we have a full 15-man roster. So unless the Bulls are gonna waive someone else here off the 15-man roster, which I would highly not really think is a good idea. The only maybe candidate is Javon Carter. But even then, I feel like it's not worth it because Sarge makes less than Javon Carter. And so if I'm going to take a cap hit of dead money, then I'm taking Sarge's smaller contract. And as you can see here, the Bulls had $13 million still of space before hitting the luxury tax. So the Bulls can 100% just take on Sarge's contract and go ahead and just waive him. And it would not put them in the luxury tax. We would still have about $8 million left remaining before we hit that. So, no worries about that whatsoever. So like I'm not too worried about like another move coming of like another salary dump or something like that. Like I don't expect that to happen here. Which is good. Like the last thing I want the Bulls to now do is like they're gonna like try to salary dump Vucevic or something. Like, look, man, if you could get some draft pick back for Vucevic, great. But if you need to like trade second round picks just to salary dump him, like it's just not worth it. So I'm gonna hope that this is not ammo to salary dump. That's kind of my big fear. But if this is what I think it is, good job. I think this is pretty solid. Finally, so the highlights this game. Happy for Yuki getting some minutes during crunch time. So Yuki, I think, should have honestly played. Sorry about the whole post game. We were supposed to do post game, but then I got notified that a trade happened. So we went to the trade instead and started talking about it. But yeah, I think with Yuki, I was honestly shocked that Diamond didn't leave him in longer. Like Yuki checked in with about like 10 and a half minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and he played very well. And I was like, yo, like, and then Diamond took him out with like about 4 or 5 minutes left remaining. I was very confused. I was just like, Yuki's arguably been our best player up to that point, like in the fourth quarter. I think you need to have him out there. He forced 3 turnovers, like 3 possessions. So I was very shocked to see that Diamond did take him out, but he did eventually get put back in with about a minute left remaining, I think, because Diamond kind of recognized that we need another ball handler out there. And yeah, I mean, either way, Io was just absolutely just on fire and taking over the game. But yeah, having Yuki out there, it was really cool to see him, one, just in general play, and he had a positive impact on the game. But also that gets him like pretty key minutes, and he like wasn't like getting like absolutely abused on the defensive end. Was actually making defensive plays in the fourth quarter. That was awesome to watch. I think with Yuki's, like, because he has that 3-point shot in him, like he can shoot it off the dribble, he can pull up, and he can obviously spot up shoot it. I do think that he does have at least like some sort of like, you know, NBA level bench role in his career. I am a little bit worried about like what exactly the years would be for that, because like he's already 24, and so like it might honestly be now is just like the best possible chance before his body starts to break down, because unfortunately for small guards, their body just breaks down quicker. It's just how it is. But I do think though that because of his dribble penetration ability, like he can get past guys just due to how small he is and how fast he is with the ball. And we saw even tonight where he was able to create dribble penetration and have these dump off passes to rollers or whoever else is around the area. I do think that he has a role in this league at some point. It's not this season yet, but I definitely think though, for what I've seen, like from obviously G League, some stuff, but then what we've seen in the preseason into this game, like, yeah, I could see a world. We did see though, like in like I think it was the second quarter, where like Drew Smith like kind of just like basically like he drew a foul on him and it was just like Yuki can't really do anything just because of his size, but his overall agility and his ball handling, along with obviously his passing, like I do think that he has a pretty solid chance. I just don't exactly know how it's gonna work out. It's like I kind of see TJ McConnell in him, but like obviously McConnell doesn't shoot threes. So it's like McConnell's bigger, but I kind of see that a little bit in him. But like the way that I kind of described him is just like he's like 5'8", Kyle Lowry of like the Raptors in their like championship season, where like Lowry really wasn't like as much of a scorer that year. He was more just like a 3-point shooter and assist guy. Like, he's not obviously going to be as good as Kyle Lowry that year, which was an all-star, but like it's like kind of a similar level of a game that I'm seeing, but just like less production off the bench, obviously. So but he's a fun player to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed watching him tonight. And I'm hoping that, honestly, I mean, I don't know what the hell is happening with the Kobe White and Josh Giddey injuries. Giddey's not playing tomorrow. I'd be shocked if he is. But yeah, I mean, if these guys are having some issues, like, yeah, just put Yuki out there and just see what we can get. It's fun to watch him, and we know he's going to give solid effort on the defensive end, even though if he is small. Why not throw him out there? Like Connor showed us, they're using these second round picks, these seconds to trade for Misi. Yeah, I'm definitely concerned like that's about to come here, Rozzy. Like you're definitely you're thinking pretty well when it comes to this sort of stuff. I hope it doesn't happen. I'd rather just keep these second round picks, honestly. Unless we find some other trade that might be worth it. But I mean, look, man, I understand that they've been trying to target Misi, but I'm just like, I don't know. The Bulls better be getting something else back than just like Misi in that deal or something. Like, it just doesn't make too much sense to me. But maybe if I see the trade, I might turn my opinion around. Like if we really like truly like just give a Javon Carter and some seconds, like I guess honestly it's like okay, but I don't think the Pelicans accept that. Like I think the Pelicans gonna actually want some like true value in return here, and not just like an expiring contract or like an unplayable player. So I don't know exactly what to expect. It might actually just be like Dalen Terry and 2 seconds or something. I guess that could happen, and if that was the case, I'd also be okay with that deal. But I'm gonna expect that the Pelicans want something else and not just like Dalen Terry only. We got back to 2 seconds for Julian. I guess you could kind of look at it like that. I do think that they're a little bit probably less valuable because we traded one of our own second round picks, and like we know that we're going to be like in the mid level of like the draft, right? So 45th overall pick is what we had last season, right? For example. So ideally, like I think we would still probably want our own, but because like we got Denver's second round pick in 2027. That it's from Cleveland, but they had Denver's second round pick in 2027. So that's the pick we got. And then we got like the least favorable of like 3 teams listed in 2029, which is like, okay. But again, I'm totally fine with this deal overall. This is a very solid deal, I think, for the Bulls, and just in terms of understanding what you have with your trade exceptions available. You got to use it before you lose it. You're able to take advantage of that. You also have some luxury tax or some space before the luxury tax. And so this trade is able to take advantage of that space. And you're not like, even with this trade, you're not going to be in a luxury tax at all. And you went ahead and just made up this straight up deal. As you got the salary dump and you got the 2 second round picks. Thumbs up from me. You even got 2, honestly, which is, I mean, I'm even kind of shocked you got 2, because like Sarge has been like basically unplayable this season. So the fact that they even got 2 on just a $5 million contract, pretty solid. I think that's honestly pretty good. But very clearly, both Cleveland and Sacramento wanted this deal to get done, because both of them sent a second round pick to the Bulls in this deal. So we got a trade. I'm already wrong, because like I made a prediction last stream as like the Bulls aren't going to do anything. Well, they did something. They haven't traded any of the players that I still think they need to be traded, obviously. But it's a good trade. This is a very solid trade, I think. It's not obviously like, you know, it's not going to be franchise changing, but it's a good overall use of your assets. And I'm happy to see the Bulls finally did something that was positive in my eyes, at least. I don't think that Kobe is going to get traded, not going to lie. I made that prediction also, Rozzy, last stream. I predicted like the Bulls aren't going to do anything, because I don't have faith in them to pull the trigger on like what they probably should be taking for Kobe. But this actually gives me a little bit more hope. Like, if this was truly just a salary dump and they're not going to just like use these second round picks and try to buy someone else off of this, then like I actually have some faith that they're going to do the right thing here. But to be clear, I don't have too much faith. Like, this doesn't like suddenly, you know, completely change my view of the front office. Like, it doesn't do that at all. Like, it's a nice step. It's a good overall step taken. They did a good job of this trade, but I gotta see more. Obviously, I'm gonna have to see this front office properly do the Kobe trade before I'm thinking, hey, they actually came to their senses and they are doing the proper things today. I was preparing myself for a trade to get traded before his injury, so I mean, I won't lie. I think everyone should honestly be prepared for anybody to get traded, except if their names are Giddey and Buzelis. Even Asenge, I'm honestly like interested in how the Bulls kind of view him, because let's say, for example, right, let's say the Bulls are still very much like, even after this deal, they're like, no, we're trying to buy. Like, this just gave us more ammo to buy, right? And they want to go and try and make a big swing. Now, it won't be for Giannis. I hate to break it to everybody, but again, there's just too many other teams that have much more better valuable assets than the Bulls do. And they're not giving up their entire team for Giannis. So you're not getting Giannis, unfortunately. But let's say the Bulls actually try to buy, though. And, you know, the other team is asking for a Asenge. And if the Bulls are not about actually waiting for some of these guys to actually develop, right, and they want to go and try win now, then I don't know how they would view Asenge. Now, again, if this was me, right, I think trading Asenge is an absolute stupid idea right now. We honestly don't know what we have yet with him, and you know, I hate the whole injury situation, but it's just not the proper thing to do. But I could see the Bulls actually trading him. So again, I actually think that when it comes to everybody involved here, like, the only two guys I'm like pretty certain that aren't going to get traded is Josh Giddey and Matas Buzelis. Now, again, I don't expect the Bulls to do the proper thing, right? But if I was running the front office, then it's just like, yeah, pretty much almost everyone's on the table, is available via trade, except for maybe Buzelis and Asenge. Even Giddey, in my opinion, would have a proper price, because I would make the argument that the Bulls need to just go very young and build through these guys, and everyone else can just go. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen. I think the Bulls really truly value Giddey, so I expect him to stick around. But yeah, I can see a world where anyone else goes. Oh, I guess I forgot Patrick. Sorry, we're stuck with Patrick. I should have said that. Don't expect Giddey, Buzelis, or Patrick Williams to ever get traded here, because that money is not going anywhere. Unfortunately, we are stuck with that guy. I do think with Trey Jones, though, with how well he has played this season, like, yeah, I definitely think there are a lot of teams calling for him. And I honestly do think that there may have been like a better chance he did get traded, just because I do think that a team would have thrown a first round pick to the Bulls, because Trey Jones is on a multi-year deal. He's on a very team friendly deal for the next 2 seasons after this year. So teams would be more willing to like actually offer like a first round pick, because they would have team control over him and he's not an unrestricted free agent. I think what's happening right now for Kobe is that the Bulls are still trying to ask for that like unprotected first round pick. And it's just teams are just balking at the fact that he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. And it just doesn't make any sense to send a first round pick to the Bulls that's pretty valuable for an unrestricted free agent, right? However, I do think that the Bulls need to try to negotiate it and try to get that like first round pick level of asking price, but like try to like convince the other team to like make it like protected first round pick, and you should still accept it at the end of the day. Will it happen? I'm not sure. If the Bulls only offer 2 second round picks and like something else for Kobe, and that's their best deal that they can get, take it. You need to take that deal. I think Kobe just needs to go at this point, and it's again not anything against him. It's just the proper time just to do it. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with Ayo at this point. I've convinced myself that they're gonna do both things. I think I've convinced myself that Ayo has played so well that a team's gonna actually offer like 2 like very valuable like first round picks or something, and they're gonna take the deal, which is what you should do. But I've also convinced myself that I think the Bulls are like heavily value this man, and he's played so well that they're just like, yeah, we can't trade him. Even if they get offered 2 first round picks, they're like, nope, we're not trading him at all. So I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but like Trey Jones, Kobe, I definitely really see on the market. Jalen Smith is also the one right now that I think a lot of teams should be calling for. I still don't exactly know what team I should be like really looking at for Jalen Smith. Is like, yeah, you would make a lot of sense. Boston's like a team that like recently came to mind for me. Is like, yeah, they can maybe use a Jalen Smith. I just don't know how the hell you would get there without giving up something like valuable to them. Like, you're not obviously getting like any of these first 3 guys listed. And so it would have to be Sam Hauser, but like I feel like they're gonna just keep him. He's on like a pretty decent deal. So I don't know how you would get there, honestly, unless Boston has like a trade exception that they can use, but they're very far into the tax, I think. So I don't really see that happening. Let's just see. Oh, they actually do have a TPE they could use. Let's just see. Hold on. Let's just see if this would work. Okay, yeah. I mean, this actually would work. Where is Boston after this, though? Oh, honestly, I don't know. I did not know that they had a TPE like this. This is actually pretty interesting to look at. What is this TPE from? Oh, it's from. Is this from the Drew Holiday trade? It might be from the Porzingis trade, but that's a large TPE. That's $22 million. Huh, interesting. So yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. Like I think Jalen Smith actually makes a lot of sense for Boston. Like he would actually kind of fit in really well with what they do. You're not gonna get Hugo Gonzalez as much as I would love to get him. Like Hugo Gonzalez is like a very nice, like he's been really solid this year as a rookie. I would love to get him. You're not gonna get him though, unfortunately. I don't know. Like we're like, actually, and Boston actually wouldn't have to even waive anybody because they don't have enough guys on the roster anyway. So I doubt they would do it for this TPE, but who knows? Maybe they would. That'd be actually an interesting thing to see if they did this, but I doubt they would do it. But I mean, who else though, man? Like, I honestly don't know who else would like take Jalen Smith as like, because like to me in my head, Jalen Smith is actually like, yeah, he's pretty valuable. Well, I don't really know like who would like kind of need like backup center minutes, or I guess like backup 4 minutes a little bit now because of how Jalen Smith has played in the at the 4 this year, but he's done really well. I think Jalen Smith's honestly been like a very, very key piece of this Bulls roster all season long. I don't know. I'm just bringing this up. It's just like an idea. Like I'm just trying to see. God, Agbaji is already 25 years old. That is weird as hell to see. Don't want him. He's shooting awful from 3-point range this season. I know that we've talked about Mamu. I know Viper Strike and myself have talked about Mamu. I've also brought up Mamu on the last stream. This one obviously wouldn't work out money-wise, but I don't know if the Bulls want to just kind of get Mamu early. Not sure about it. Clippers. I mean, Brook Lopez has not exactly been the best player for them this season, but let's just see what he's doing this year. Yeah, I mean, no, 1 block per game is honestly pretty solid off the bench, but like, could I convince myself into this working? I seriously doubt it. Let's just look though. By the way, let me know if there's any other trades that do happen. I doubt we see anything else, but hey, I also doubted we would see a trade today. The Bulls actually did something positive today, so who knows what we could be gearing up for here. God, it would have to we'd have to take back like Bradley Beal, unfortunately. No, that doesn't even work. Are they even allowed to combine guys? Like just for testing, they wouldn't do this. Okay, this would actually work. All right. I don't think I can convince myself that they would take this deal. So then it'd be like Bogdanovich, unfortunately. I guess. Okay, so we have to make up 17-ish million, like a ish million. Do you guys think what do you guys think about Kobe going to LA? Do you think it's a good fit? Do you think the Clippers would want him? Like, I'm just trying to just think outside the box right now because like John Collins isn't expiring. I'm aware of that, but like you can kind of leverage this as like, oh hey, you know, let's get some draft compensation or something out of it. Fortunately, it had to be like this or something, but like Kobe to LA, this should work. Like, is this enough? I mean, I guess I don't think this would be enough actually, just because Jalen Smith is also being involved, but. Let's check here. Sorry, I'm just kind of just going with the flow here. The Clippers played today? No. Okay, they played yesterday. They lost to the Denver Nuggets. Did Kawhi play? He did. Oh wow. Okay. Actually, Collins might be is Collins like too important for them now to trade? Because like they've kind of actually put him in the starting lineup at this point, which is a little bit shocking. I know that he like came off the bench earlier this year. Oh wow, he's actually having a really solid year actually. Okay. Yeah, I don't, maybe this probably doesn't work honestly. Okay, yeah. Scrap this. This isn't worth it unfortunately for the Clippers. Yeah, I don't know. Jalen Smith makes a lot of sense in just like in terms of like, yeah, like he should probably be traded. But I don't know where, honestly. Weirdly enough, Minnesota also kind of makes sense. Like, Minnesota kind of does make sense, but I know Naz Reid is there. But it would allow, like, Naz Reid to kind of be, like, the backup, like, 4, I guess. San Antonio has Luke Cornett, so that doesn't make much sense to me, at least in my opinion. I mean, Denver has Valanciunas. New York, they just kind of run Cat and Mitchell Robinson. If Charlotte wants a playoff push, I guess that's a possibility. I seriously doubt it, though. And then Philly has Andre Drummond. So I feel like Golden State is not going to use any of their assets just to get Jalen Smith out of all people. If they trade Io, it would devastate me. I understand where you're coming from, Rozzy, because like I'll be sick to my stomach when I see Io DeSumo in another uniform. But again, like, even in my opinion, I think everyone has a price. Like, I'm the biggest Io fan, but if I get 2 first-round picks for Io, I am sending him out. I think at least if I was running the team. But it would have to be, just to be clear, like, it went from, like, you know, there was, like, if I got, like, 2, like, protected, but, like, they're probably going to convey picks for Io, like, that was kind of my price. It's just like, yeah, that's enough. Now I do think though, with how well he's played, like I do think that they're gonna have to be like either like not protected or like very lightly protected first round picks at this point because he's played so well. But yeah, I understand. Like it's gonna suck if he is traded and I see him in a different uniform. It's gonna look so weird. It's gonna hurt my heart, but. Like, again, it's what we gotta do best for the team here. I don't know, man. Like, the way that, like, because, like, the argument for Io of why he should be traded, right, is obviously, like, okay, he's expiring, right? Bulls need any sort of draft capital at this point. But the biggest thing also is just that, like, Io's three-point shooting this season is just at like, he is shooting an absurd level. I mean, he came into tonight shooting 44% from three-point range when he hit 5 of 6 tonight. So it went up even higher. Like the argument is just that like he's not going to shoot this well ever again. Like he's going to come back down to earth and he's not going to be shooting like 45, 46% from three-point range for the rest honestly for the rest of his career, right? And even I myself like don't expect that. Like I think Io's made big strides as a shooter very clearly this year, but I don't expect him to be shooting 45, 46% from three-point range for the rest of his career, obviously. Now the question is though is how far does he fall, right? How far off does he fall in terms of the drop off of the three-point shot? If he's shooting 42%, which is definitely more doable, right? Then it's like, okay, this is a very like he's turned into a very good player overall. But if you think that he's going to fall back down to like league average, which is what he shot for his, his entire career is 37%, which is league average at this point of NBA basketball, like, that would definitely move the argument to him being traded as like, yeah, you should be trading him at this point. So it's kind of just how you view it. I mean, hell, man, like I'm going to assume after tonight's game that points per game is up to above 15 points per game. And his shooting percentage just skyrocketed again. He shot 68% from the field tonight. And so, like, he was already, again, shooting 51% heading into tonight. Like, it is just absurd what this man is doing. In terms of just efficiency. Yeah, okay, here we go. It's already updated. So, like, he's shooting, he's 15.1 points per game on 51.8% shooting, 45% from three-point range. And he doesn't turn it over. Like... 51, 45, 85 are his shooting splits and 1.3 turnovers. For a 15 point per game score. Like, I think that's something just to keep in mind. Like, it's not just like, oh, he has low turnovers, but he's only averaging like 10 points. Like, he's averaging 15 points per game and he's still only averaging 1.3 turnovers per game. That's impressive. That's insanely impressive for a guy as a guard. So yeah, I definitely understand both ways at this point. I could see it being like, yeah, don't trade him. I can also see why you need to trade him right now. Did we get any more updates? Here we go. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Oh, really? Okay. Why? Okay. Well, we got the official word here, which is that the Bulls are waiving Javon Carter to create the roster spot for Saric. Which, let me actually think about this for a second here. So give me a second here. What's going on, DJ Hill? I know it's been a while for you. What's up? What's up, everyone? Missed the game, but looking up the box score, it looks like Io lit it up. Oh, bro. Honestly, man, if you can go and watch the game and watch Io in that fourth quarter, like, it was honestly, Io DeSumo was a superstar tonight. Like, he was the go-to man. Everything ran through him in the last, like, 4 minutes. And he did everything. At one point, he was responsible for, like, the last 15 points. He either scored or assisted on the last 15 points in crunch time for the Bulls. Like, I was truly watching a superstar tonight in Io. Like, I never thought I'd see the day that he ever have a game like this, but he had a game like this. It is honestly insane. So, yeah, I do truly recommend that if you could, like, go watch that fourth quarter. It was incredible to watch from Io. And Io, again, the last 3 games, Io DeSumo has taken over in the fourth quarter for, like, a stretch. And it's been very impressive. I've been very pleased to see it, honestly. We also have a trade. So, yeah, here is the trade here. Or, sorry, actually, this is probably better to look at when it comes to the trade. So, yes, so here you go, DJ Hill. Here's the trade for the Bulls. I'm actually kind of shocked. Like, I think the Bulls did really well in this deal. I'm very pleased to see the Bulls go ahead and use their assets that they have, which is, in this case, their traded player exception that was involved in which they got from the Zach LaVine trade last season. And they went ahead and used it to get 2 second-round picks in a salary dump trade. And so the Bulls went ahead and played middleman in this deal where they got Dario Saric and did not have to send anybody out in this deal. They were able to absorb Saric's contract with the traded player exception that they still had left remaining. That was from the Zach LaVine deal initially. We had to use part of it on Isaac Okoro, but we still had $6 million left remaining. And so we went ahead and got 2 second-round picks to take on Saric's contract to help this trade go through. I'm going to be dead serious. I have no idea what the Kings are doing. The Kings decided to trade both Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis for DeAndre Hunter, who I'm just like, look, Hunter can, like, kind of help them, but the Kings should be, like, flat out tanking, and I don't know why they made this deal at all. This doesn't help. Like, they should be preparing for the future, and instead they traded Schroeder and Ellis to trade trade pieces that they had some value, and instead of trading him for picks, they got DeAndre Hunter back in return. Not to mention, then they decided to salary dump Dario Saric to us, and they had to give up 2 second-round picks in this deal. I don't know what the hell the Kings are doing in this, but we will gladly take it. And so, yeah, the Bulls help play middleman, and they get 2 second-round picks out of this. Are the 2 seconds from Sacramento? If so, that's a good get. So, unfortunately, they are not Sacramento's own picks. According to Will Gottlieb, and it was also posted in chat by Rozzy here, we got the 2027 pick from Cleveland, and as you can see here, Cleveland's own pick is going to Minnesota. So the one that we got is from Denver. And assuming that Jokic is still Jokic and the Denver Nuggets are still the Denver Nuggets next season, this pick is not going to be that high, unfortunately. So it is Denver's 2027 second round pick, unfortunately. And then the other one, which is we got one from Cleveland and one from Sacramento, but they're not their own picks, unfortunately. But the other one that we got from Sacramento, and the reason why I know this is just because of looking at what was available. So Sacramento's own second round pick in 2029 is going to Houston. So we got this pick here, which is the least favorable between Detroit, Milwaukee, and New York. So unfortunately, we get the worst pick out of wherever, whoever had the best record, basically. We get that pick. So unfortunately, both of these second round picks are going to be like late second round, and most likely, especially that Denver one that we got is most likely going to be late second round pick. But it does suck that we don't get like a potential top 40 pick, right? That would be ideal if we got like a top 40 pick, but or projected top 40 pick. But unfortunately, we are not getting that. But hey, I will gladly take this from the Bulls. This is the proper use of their assets, and they went ahead and made a good deal, in my opinion, today. Now, we did just get word, though, I'm a little bit shocked by this, but the Bulls decided to waive Javon Carter instead of Saric, which I'm a little bit I'm a little bit irked by it, just because I don't think that was the move that should have been made. So you're wondering, what does Saric's contract look like? I assume we're cutting him, and he won't be playing. So Saric was making $5 million this season, as you see here. It's $5.4 million. This is his contract. But instead of cutting him, which I just thought that the Bulls should just cut him instead. I don't know why we did this, but maybe it won't matter at the end of the day. But here's Saric for this season. It's not good. Like, he's played 5 games. He's averaging 1 point per game. He really hasn't played the last 2 seasons, honestly. So yeah, it's nothing really spectacular from him. Now, I do remember him in Golden State. Like, he was like okay, but I am definitely worried that like injuries that maybe kind of cut off to him and just age is just kind of getting to him. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some good play out of him, but I seriously doubt it. But we decided to waive Javon Carter, and the only reason why I'm just a little bit I think this was just a wrong decision by the Bulls is just because. If I'm gonna have dead money, I would rather have the smaller contract on my books. And Sarge is making $1.2 million or $1.4 million less than Javon Carter this year. So I would have just waived Sarge instead of Javon Carter. But instead, the Bulls went ahead and waived Javon Carter here. So that means that we're gonna have $6.8 million in dead money unless the Bulls stretch and waive the contract. Which I guess we'll find out soon if that is the case. I would highly recommend to not trade or to not stretch and waive Carter's contract. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the Bulls have something else up their sleeve in terms of like, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, here's some other important bullet points from Keith Smith about the deal. Excuse me. Why stretch his contract? Like I said, I would highly recommend not to stretch the contract. But the only reason why that you could maybe make an argument is if the Bulls do make another trade, and then they would stretch away the contract just to make sure they're under luxury tax. I would highly recommend to not stretch and waive the contract. I think stretching and waiving the contract is going to be a very bad decision. It takes the $6.8 million, you times it he times it by 2 of the years left remaining, right? Which is just 1 year. So it's 1 times 2, and then you add plus 1. So it'd be $6.8 million stretched over 3 years. And so just 6.8 divided by 3. I can't do just the simple math of that, unfortunately, in my head. It's like, what, 2.5, I guess? Or, I don't know. Anyway, something around that. And that would be the dead money for each of those years. It just, yeah, I would hate. The Bulls are not close to the luxury tax, or I mean, they have room before the luxury tax right now, so there's no reason to stretch and waive Carter's contract. Sarge's contract fully guaranteed. It is fully guaranteed, at least from my understanding. Yeah, I mean, as you can see here, like Dalen Terry's contract wasn't because of his team option. But Sarge is fully guaranteed unless I click here and it says something else. But yeah, this is fully guaranteed. So let me go ahead and make a update now, I guess. So like, actually, hold on. Guys, well, I'm checking Casey Johnson and Will Gottlieb just in case, just to see if like, okay, there might be some other news here. Of like what the Bulls are gonna exactly do, but it doesn't seem like there's anything. Okay, yeah, not seeing anything here. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and bring up my spreadsheet for the Bulls salary cap, and talk about where exactly we're at. And I'm gonna make some updates with you guys live, to show exactly what we're looking at here. So Javon Carter, he is no longer here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just replace his name with Saric. Luckily for Saric, he isn't like, this is last year's deal, so it's not like we're adding in any sort of long-term money with him. But he is making less than what Carter was making, so 5.4264. So that is Saric's contract. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add that to the books here. Then I'm gonna have to go ahead and just add this. As you already see, I have a tab for dead money, and so we're gonna go ahead and add that what for Javon Carter's contract is. So Javon Carter, we go here. I definitely did this in a long way, and so I don't remember what Carter's contract is now. 6.80952. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add that. And now I need to change my equation for, let's see. Go to 22 now. Okay. So, again, Spotrac hasn't fully updated this yet. It might actually update as I refresh it here. No, okay. It still says Javon Carter still on the books. So, but I guess it doesn't matter either way. But, right now, the Bulls, for after this deal, so again, they've added Sarge's contract. Even with Javon Carter going away here, his money's still on the books. So the Bulls went from about $13 million in terms of space before the tax to about $8.2-ish million now. Okay, so this is where the Bulls are now currently stand. So they still have, according to my calculations with everything, they still have about 8.1 million left before they hit the luxury tax. In terms of what the Bulls can still do right now, as you can see here, here's the number, and so I use Spotrac's numbers, so this obviously is the same as what I have on my spreadsheet. In terms of what the Bulls can still do in terms of like adding money, so that traded player exception was from the Zach LaVine trade, and it is now almost fully used. There's still $760K left remaining, but that's basically worthless now because you can't take, like, no contract is only 760K at this point, so you can't absorb any sort of contract. But the Bulls still have the non-taxpayer mid-level exception left remaining here. And so this can be used as a trade exception. They made that change in the most recent CBA, is that usually this is just money just to spend on a free agent, and that's the only way you can use it. But this can now be used as a traded player exception to absorb a contract without trading anyone out. So, you know, the Bulls still, again, they have still $8 million left remaining here, that they can, like, take on, like, about $7-8 million, right? And still waive that player, and they can maybe still get some picks still, in that sort of deal, and they're still not in luxury tax. So, if, like, the only thing the Bulls do is just be a salary dump, like a place where teams salary dump some stuff and they get some picks out of it, sure. I mean, it's not the worst case scenario. It's a lot better than what I was, like, thinking was going to be, like, the worst case scenario. But, yeah, I still think he's still got to trade Kobe, but it's good to know that the Bulls are actually, you know, receiving some draft capital for once. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how exactly they view Saric, because this honestly makes me think that one of the big men is getting traded. Because to me, there is honestly no reason why to keep all four of Vucevic, Collins, Smith, and Saric. Like, you basically have like 4 centers on your roster. The most that you should have is at any point is 3. Now, I understand that Jalen Smith has been playing a lot of power forward, but I still kind of look at him as a center, and he's been playing a lot of center because Zach Collins has been like MIA for most of this season. So, I would think that you're gonna trade one of these centers, but maybe I'm wrong. And they're just assuming that Zach Collins is just like not going to be here for the rest of the season, and so it just gives you some more center depth if he's just not ever coming back, I guess. But I would hate for that to work, because I would just say you should still just waive Saric here. But sure, he decided to waive Javon Carter instead. Hope nothing but the best for him. But his $6.8 million of dead money cannot be moved. Like, that is stuck there for the rest of the season. So I'm gonna hope that doesn't come to bite us in the butt later. But I guess their way of thinking is that we have a shit ton of guards already on the roster. Let's just go ahead and waive a guard. And so they decide to waive their very clearly the guy at the end of the bench, and Javon Carter. So that's what we got. So I appreciate Javon Carter and his time here. I unfortunately was wrong about his impact level. I was very happy when the Bulls did sign him in free agency. I thought he'd be a lot better when it came to his level of play. Unfortunately, that did not come to fruition. Very clearly, Giannis made him look a lot better than he actually was. But yeah, I mean, some team is definitely gonna pick him up. I do think that some contender will probably pick him up at some point, just to have some extra guard depth and some 3-point shooting. With Sarge being older, I wonder if he gets tied to another trade. So just to be clear about how trades work with a player that was just recently traded, okay? Basically, Saric is limited in terms of the trades that he can be in. But what I mean by that is, if the Bulls decide that, yeah, they're just going to trade Saric just by himself as the only player that they're sending out in that deal, okay, he can be traded. That is totally fine. But the Bulls, what they cannot do with Saric right now is take him plus then another piece, put them together in the same trade, okay? So, unfortunately, the Bulls are not allowed to take Saric and let's just say Kobe White and put him in the same trade and trade him out at the exact same time. That is not allowed. That is part of the trade restrictions when it comes to a player that was just recently traded. In the 60 days, in the first 60 days, they were just recently traded. They have that restriction on them. So, unfortunately, Thomas, I do not think that Sarge is going to be part of any sort of other deal, because it's the only way it would be possible is if a team also then uses a traded player exception to acquire him, and the Bulls kind of basically make like 2 separate trades, but it's just all in the same trade, basically. And so like one trade would be Sarge goes for a, like a loan, but that also then they'll do a follow-up trade where like someone else also goes with. But that does limit kind of like your trade flexibility when you do that. Like, it limits your options of how you do the trade. So I don't think, unfortunately, it's going to happen. I think Sarge is just going to be here to stay, unless the Bulls acquire like 3 people back in like a 2-player trade for them, and they just got to waive someone else. Unfortunately, Jalen Smith would net us the most capital. If we want good assets, guys like Smith and Jones would potentially be traded. So I completely agree with you that both Smith and Jones have probably the best overall value because of their they're not unrestricted free agents, right? And they're on very team-friendly deals. Like $9 million and $8 million is very, very absorbable for many teams. I completely agree. I just don't know how they view Jalen Smith and Trey Jones. Like, I think that they really like both of them very clearly. But like Trey Jones was like, I mean, he was obviously starting at the start of the season. But like they might actually view him. I mean, the coaching staff has been like highly like talking about him since he's gotten here. So like he might just be here forever. Now Jalen Smith, I think is probably a little bit more. They're probably a little bit more open to trade just because like when Zach Collins did get here last season, like Smith was out of the rotation. But like Jalen Smith this season, like he's been a very big piece for the team all season long. So, I don't exactly know, again, how they view him, but I do think they might be a little bit more open to trading him now. Which is fine. It's just that, yeah, you gotta get some decent value in return for him. Yeah, I'm not expecting anything like spectacular. I'm not expecting a first, but you get a young player and like a second-round pick or something like that, sure. Yeah, I'm all for it. And the most value Jalen Smith's ever going to have is now. If you're planning on not keeping him after his contract is over, you should trade him now, because if you're going to trade him next season, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent after next season. And so it's the same exact talking points we've had all season long about Kobe and Io. Their trade value, unfortunately, is just lower just because of their unrestricted free agency status, right? So, like I said, if you're going to trade Jalen Smith, you should do it. Or if you're not going to keep Jalen Smith long term, trade him now. Which I think is probably the right decision overall. He's played well, but I do think it's probably the right decision. So, but yeah, I'm still just trying to figure this out. Like, why would the Bulls keep Sarge over Carter? Like, to be clear, Javon Carter's been the better player this season than Sarge. Like, he's actually like come in and like contributed to actually some of their games. To be clear, like, Dario Saric is averaging 1 point per game in 5 games and shooting 16% from the field. And that's with the Sacramento Kings missing Sabonis for a lot of time. So they're playing guys over Saric over there because they're just better. There's like basically no reason to play them, honestly. So I'm just gonna hope that like maybe like the Bulls and Carter had some sort of deal or something. Maybe it was a buyout deal. That would actually be kind of nice if it was a buyout deal, just to kind of save us some room before the luxury tax. But now I'm honestly just a little bit shocked that the Bulls decided to waive Carter instead. But that's the reason why I'm thinking to myself that if they decided to waive Carter and it wasn't like a buyout deal, like I actually do think that they're probably going to be trading one of these big men. And the most likely to be traded is Jalen Smith, just because Vooch is like negative value. Collins is injured for like the next at least month, for what we heard. Like I don't expect Zach Collins to come back in the next month. Now Jalen Smith, I know, has had a calf issue, but it's kind of like it's been a while since he's been injured, honestly. So yeah, we might be seeing a Jalen Smith trade here soon. I won't be shocked if we do kind of see that. Do they tie those picks to a Vooch trade? They could, but I did kind of, I know you weren't here, Thomas, but in my opinion at least, I do not think the Bulls should be salary dumping Vooch. Like, and what I mean by that is I did not think that we should be spending assets to get Vucevic off this roster, because he's expiring anyway. Now, if Vooch had like another year left on his contract, then I'd be all for to take these picks and send them out with Vooch and just pray someone would take the salary dump in the second round picks, right? But because Vooch is expiring, I do not see any reason to salary dump him right now, unless like some other trade is being made and like they need to like somehow get his money off the books. But I don't think that we're going to be seeing that, honestly. I'd be pretty upset if the Bulls do actually just like take these 2 second-round picks and just salary dump Vucevic off of it. That will actually make me pretty upset if they do that. I don't know. I want to trust this front office after making a good decision, but unfortunately I'm scarred. I'm very, very scarred and I have PTSD. But to answer your question, they could tie those picks to Vucevic and send them out if they wanted to. Yeah, if they wanted to just take these picks and put them in a Vuce trade, yeah, that's perfectly legal. But again, they cannot attach Saric to any sort of other player, and then trade those 2 guys out at the exact same time and create a big trade exception. That is not allowed. They could trade Saric by himself and any picks involved, like that is perfectly legal. So yeah, if they want to salary dump Saric, which again I would not do that, but if they want to salary dump Saric alone, then yeah, that is a possibility. But yeah, we will not be like putting Saric together with someone else and trading them together. Are the Bulls stupid enough for expecting a first for Kobe? I think that's what they're expecting, DJ Hill. From like all the reports that we're getting is that the Bulls do want a first round pick in return for Kobe. Now let me be clear. I think that as like the first asking price is not that crazy. Like I think it's honestly like okay. But if you're the Bulls, like you start there, but like you should be expecting to come to some sort of compromise where you don't maybe get it. And if the best offer you can get is like some player and like 2 second-round picks for Kobe, then guess what? You should accept that deal. Because the time to have traded Kobe for a first-round value, honestly, was last season. So you just need to accept your L and just get what you can for him, and you're lucky that you're going to even get something for him. But I do think that that's what they're expecting. Now, however, I do think that they're like the one team that I do think might be one just to like make sure that they outbid the others, like because again we've been hearing that the Minnesota Timberwolves are in on it, but then also Houston has been a big team recently that has suddenly come onto the Kobe White sweepstakes. I could actually see an argument of like why they would give up a first round pick, and it would be Dorian Finney-Smith. The Bulls had to also get Aaron Holiday this deal. The money works here. And then Houston would trade their like not the Brooklyn pick, dear Lord. But it'd be like something like this. Like, first and foremost, just to be clear, I would accept this deal. I would 100% accept this if I'm the Bulls. But I'm sure the Rockets are just like, no, we're not going to give you a first round pick in this deal. We'll give you your own pick back this season, which is something the Bulls love to do. And like instead they want probably something like this, right? Like I think this is what the Rockets want. The Bulls obviously want a first. So what's the compromise? Is it 3 second-round picks, right? That's not honestly too bad. Like if it's 3 second-round picks, like that's not too bad at all, I think. So I will be interested in seeing what exactly they decide to do here. Kobe's value has slowly deteriorated, so hopefully someone will be desperate enough to outbid another team. That's the hope, right? Unfortunately, it just seems like there's only like 2, maybe 3 teams like trying to get Kobe. And to be clear, like if I'm, let's say, for example, if I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves, right, and I'm like, okay, well, like, yeah, I could see Kobe kind of fitting in here, but I'm not going to give up too much just to get him. But I only see like 1 or maybe 2 other teams out there, maybe to trying to get Kobe White. Then they're sitting pretty right now. They're just like, yeah. So unless some other team outbids us, like you have to basically accept this deal, which is probably like Mike Conley, Terrence Shannon Jr., and like 2 second-round picks is what. A lot of Bulls fans are not happy about that sort of deal, but to me, that's pretty realistic. But like, that's what I think is probably being discussed, right? It's like the Bulls don't want that. They want a first, or they want Berenger, right? Now, if you told me, if like when Kobe like initially got back from his initial injury and, you know, the Minnesota Timberwolves were maybe like heavily involved then, which was like, this is something that I was talking about on Bulls on Tap, was like, yeah, maybe I could kind of see the Timberwolves actually doing this sort of deal. The problem is, though, is that Berenger has actually been, like, you know, playing with the team recently, and he's given them some good minutes. So for a 19-year-old who I was like, yeah, you know what, if they're not really thinking too far about the future and just, like, we're trying to win now, then I don't really know what Berenger could really offer them. So they might be willing to actually give him up. Well, the problem is that Baron J's actually played like kind of well for them recently. The on-off numbers are kind of absurd for him, I think. But it's like his value now to the Timberwolves for the current Timberwolves is like actually higher now. So like to me, you're not getting Baron J anymore for what I've been seeing. Which then it's like, okay, would you accept Dillingham? Now, like in my opinion, I would also accept this deal. But I am aware Dillingham's small. Like I'm very much aware of his limitations, but a lot of Bulls fans are like, no. Which is why we get to this trade, which is, again, if this is the best I could get for Kobe, so be it, right? That's what we got to do, right? Why? Wait, what? This okay. So, okay, just to be clear, how to make this work, we would have to wait, what? Why? All right, hold on. Why does this fail? What? But they're not. What? Okay, hold on. Let me reset this. This should work. I am very confused why that didn't work. But they're getting rid of more salary. What is Spot Track bugged? What am I? What? Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. This is just pissing me off now. Because I'm very much aware that the Timberwolves cannot take back more than they're trading out, but they're trading out more. Like they're sending out more money. Am I stupid? Outgoing cap $13 million. Incoming cap is 12. What am I looking at? Yeah, you say basically 600K in this deal. Why does this not work? But you're telling me this fails? The Bulls can do this. This is totally fine. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. No. This is a bug by Spot Track. I'm sorry. And so basically it's like, okay, yeah, it'd be Mike Conley, Terrence Shannon Jr., like 2 second-round picks, and it's like a lot of Bulls fans are like not happy about that. But I'm like, well, this is the problem the Bulls have put themselves in at this point. Like Kobe's value is at an all-time low because he's on the last year of his contract. He's not extendable, and he's had an injury-riddled season and also been hella inconsistent. This is what you get. Like, if this is the best you get, then you have to take it. All right, hold on. I'm trying to get this on Fanspo just because I'm like pissed off that this isn't working. Yeah, Fanspo says this works. This to me, I think is actually like a bug from Spot Track because like the reason why they're saying that this fails is because like the Timberwolves are taking out more salary than they're sending out. When I'm like, that is legitimately just incorrect. This would work. This works. So I don't know. Honestly, that's just pissing me off. What's going on, Noel? Yeah, we have a trade, y'all. If you guys haven't heard about it, but we did have a trade. I feel like Giannis will end up in Portland. I've actually heard that rumor, and like it actually kind of does make sense. Portland would actually have to like offer the entire bag, which, interestingly enough, they'd actually have to make a deal with the Bulls to get full rights to their picks back, to help them make that deal. But yeah, I mean, like I can kind of see a world where it does make sense, honestly. I'll talk about the trade in a second here. I'm going to catch up on chat. I would love if Portland got Giannis. Chances of us getting that pick shoot up. Yeah, like just as DJ said here, like pretty much it would help. Basically, when it comes to the Portland pick right now, Portland can't trade any of their picks right now. At least the ones that are currently under like kind of Bulls control, right? But it's because there's all these protections through 2028 that Portland cannot trade any of these picks. So like 2026 through 2028, their picks cannot be traded right now. Therefore, if the Portland Trailblazers are actually trying to get Giannis, they have to make a deal with the Bulls to like either just send this pick fully, which I think would probably be the scenario, which then would open them up to be able to trade future picks here. Because again, stepping rule, if we're not aware, you have to have at least one guaranteed first round pick every other year, right? And so help if the Bulls got this pick this season, and then which would then allow them to keep this pick here, and then they would be able to trade out 2028, then 2030, 2032, and then swap rights ever for the other ones. But it would basically help the Bulls get the pick. So that would be ideal, actually. Giannis goes out west, and the Bulls would probably get the Portland pick this season, no matter where they finish. Like, even if it's in lottery, the Bulls would still probably get it. So that would be ideal. Yeah. Chris Walton, are you new here? I'm sorry. Since YouTube has changed the chat, so I only see your usernames, or like your ats. I don't see like your, like, for example, like my channel says like TheSlamDuncan is like the name, but I don't. It would instead say like at whatever your at is. So I'm sorry if I just don't recognize your name, but I see you're here. Baron J would be perfect, but yeah, he's off limits. I agree. I think at this point, right? Because like, again, I thought that the Bulls could get Baron J earlier in the year because he wasn't really playing. He wasn't really giving like rotational minutes for the Timberwolves. But now, though, unfortunately, with how like he's actually like playing in games, and he's actually giving them some like decent minutes, like I don't think he's gonna be available. I think they, out of like the three of Baron J, Dillingham, and Terrence Shannon Jr., the Timberwolves value Baron J the most. So I don't think that you're gonna be able to get him, unfortunately, at this point. I just want to see his on-off splits, because like I swear to God that there've been kind of some interesting numbers, honestly, this year. Oh, actually, you know what? I might have to actually go to a different website just to see it the best. If it's not Baron J or Dillingham from Minnesota, hang the phone up. But again, right? Like, if you're not gonna get any better offer than it's Terrence Shannon Jr., Mike Conley, and 2 second-round picks, like, unfortunately, I think the Bulls have to accept that deal. I really do think that like Kobe like has to get moved. Unfortunately, I know it sucks, but like the Bulls really are in much of a scenario right now to just kind of be like, all right, cool, you just don't get Kobe. Like, we kind of need to go ahead and just accept whatever is best. And again, this is just a situation that the front office has put themselves in, right? If this was last season, then the Bulls would have a lot more leverage because Kobe is not unrestricted free agent. But because he's an unrestricted free agent after this season, it puts us in this sort of bind, right? Just remember, Giannis and Dame would be reunited too. That would actually be, yeah, pretty hilarious. But more importantly, the Portland Trailblazers have Drew Holiday, and Drew Holiday was the point guard that helped the Bucks win a championship with Giannis. So, like, the fit honestly like kind of makes sense. You have Denny Avdia there, which I don't know exactly if he would be part of the Giannis deal, but maybe. But I would assume that they're trying to hold on to him. But then you have Drew Holiday there as well, and that would really help Giannis with the supporting cast, right? So it kind of does make sense. Now, again, I do think Houston, if Houston really wanted to do it today, they would have like one of the best offers available. You're not giving up Durant or Şengün, and you still have those two guys. You still have like your big guys. I know Adams unfortunately is out, but like you can still kind of keep your identity, and you're fine. Like, again, Houston has the 2027 Brooklyn's first round pick unprotected. So assuming Brooklyn's going to be terrible again next season, like that pick is extremely valuable. So I find it very difficult for a lot of other teams to outbid that, unless they're the Atlanta Hawks, because the Atlanta Hawks had that Pelicans pick, which is extremely valuable. And the Atlanta Hawks own the Bucks 2027 first round pick. And so if the Bucks want to actually, full out rebuild and actually trade Giannis, then they're going to want their own picks back, right? So unfortunately, just where the Bulls are standing right now, I don't know. Like, it already was a pipe dream, but to be clear, like, for all the people that think like, oh, the Bulls have like one of the best offers if they just like give up their entire team, First and foremost, it doesn't make any sense to give up your entire team for Giannis. Like, Giannis would have no one to play with. But I just think other teams have a better offer, and they're not like destroying their entire team for it. I just want to DQ. I just got off my Bears high. I have no clue what's going on with the Bulls. Well, hey, welcome in. You are, if you want to get up to speed here with the Bulls, you are in the right channel. I cover the Bulls all season long, so welcome in, everybody. But yeah, the Bulls are unfortunately still just hovering around 500. They had an insanely impressive win today, all things considered, because they had 7 guys out, but they're facing a Miami Heat team who they faced many times in the last, or they faced them the last 3 times in the play-in tournament, and the Heat have beat them all 3 times. So if you're wondering where the Bulls have been, honestly, in the last 3 seasons, and now this one as well, they're basically still where exactly they've been, hovering in the play-in tournament, 9th or 10th seed. That's just where the Bulls have been. They've been a team that will not tank, unfortunately, when I think this was the year to tank. But they're just good enough to not tank. But they're not good enough at all to actually be a playoff caliber team whatsoever. So that's where the Bulls are at. They are just perfectly mid, and being mediocre is one of the worst things possible in the NBA. Now, with that being said, the Bulls have a big upcoming trade deadline, which is this upcoming Thursday, where it's very important for the Bulls to make the proper decisions, not just for this season alone, but also for the offseason, because the Bulls, according to my salary cap books and others as well, we're projected to have a lot of cap space this upcoming offseason, assuming that we don't go ahead and use it up at this trade deadline. But namely, Kobe White is a guy that we're looking at to potentially be traded. He's the starting shooting guard for this team, but he's had an injury-riddled season. And just kind of unfortunately just been inconsistent. Yeah, well, that's kind of what we're looking at here. But if you're wondering about my opinion, I want the Bulls to sell. And to be clear, like, I think they can still sell at this deadline and still be aggressive in free agency in the offseason. But it's important that they sell and not spend any of their assets this upcoming deadline here. But we did just get a trade, which I'm going to talk about right now. It's nothing like too significant, but I think the Bulls did well. But yeah, just to be clear where the Bulls are at, that's where the Bulls are at. It's mid, no all-star on the team. Giddey's had like a nice year, but recently, like, even before he did get injured, like, it's been a little bit disappointing, and then he came back from injury. It's been mostly just disappointing. Buzelis, who's been, maybe the guy that's the most potential on this team, he's had a good second season overall. Kobe, who was supposed to kind of take another step this season, has taken a major step back. But he's been injured a lot. So that's kind of how we're up to speed now. Trade. So let's talk about the trade the Bulls did today, which is a good decision by the Bulls. How many times, for all the regulars here, how many times have you heard me say that? Because I usually don't say that about this Bulls front office because they're so terrible usually. But the Bulls did make a trade. You think we can still trade for Kessler? No, I don't. If the Bulls want Kessler, they can go after him in restricted free agency. I think they actually would have a shot, but I personally would not spend my money for Kessler. He's too injured. Will the Bulls still have to give up something in this trade? No. So in this trade, so just to be clear about what has happened today, I see your other chat messages, but I promise you I'll get to them. So the Bulls did make a trade here, and this is the entire trade, okay? Of all these players that are listed, none of them are former Bulls players or were on the Bulls before this trade happened, okay? Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis are both going from the Kings to the Cavaliers. DeAndre Hunter was on the Cavs and is going to the Kings. And the Kings, to do this deal, they decided to salary dump Dario Saric, who has been basically, he has barely played this year. And they decided to salary dump Dario Saric to the Chicago Bulls for 2 second-round picks. So yes, it's not like franchise altering or like a big move or whatever, but I'm actually pretty happy with this deal, honestly. The Bulls in this deal, they decided to take a salary dump, and played a little bit of middleman in that deal to help kind of facilitate it. And in return, they got 2 free second-round picks to just take on Dario Saric's contract. The way the Bulls were able to do that, though, is that they had a traded player exception available, that was from the Zach LaVine trade. Part of it had to be used for Isaac Okoro and the Lonzo Ball deal, just because of how Lonzo Ball's contract was kind of written. It was basically the Bulls had to use the entire had to use the traded player exception to acquire Okoro. So the LaVine trade exception, which we all, if you guys remember, we traded Zach LaVine last season, right? The way that we created this traded player exception, though, is that we decided to acquire Kevin Huerter and his contract. We decided to use a TPE that was created in the DeMar DeRozan trade, where we sent DeMar DeRozan to Sacramento for no players in return. So that created a traded player exception. We used that traded player exception to acquire Kevin Huerter in the Zach LaVine trade, which then created this $17 million traded player exception here, which then we decided we had to use $11 million of it on Isaac Okoro. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's like it's in very small print here where my cursor is. But then we decided to use the $6 million that we had about left remaining to acquire Dario Saric in this trade. Saric is making about $5 million. Therefore, we were able to take his contract and not have to trade any players out and absorb his contract. And we got 2 second-round picks out of the deal. So, in my opinion, again, I think this is a win. This is a very good trade for the Bulls, because they're using the proper assets to go and try to get draft capital. Now, I understand that, yes, like, it's just second-round picks, but the Bulls need draft capital, no matter in the first or second round. Reminder, I would assume it was a second-round pick, and this man just had a superstar-level performance tonight, okay? For a team that is very much in need of draft capital, whether it is for drafting or whether it is for trading, the Bulls need draft capital, whether it's in the first or second round. I don't care. But this is a salary dump where the Bulls got Saric, and we get 2 second-round picks out of the deal. So that's how this trade happened. To make room for Saric, this is the one thing I'm a little bit upset about from this trade, but it's me definitely being nitpicky. But instead of waiving Saric, who, just to be clear, this is his stat line for this season. It's been an awful year for Saric. Sabonis has missed games, like a lot of games for Sacramento, and they're still not playing Saric. That's kind of a red flag. Instead of waiving Saric, which I thought we would do, we decided to waive Javon Carter instead, who is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like he's providing much value, but he's been a better player than Saric this season, and he's also making more money than him. And so, no matter what, you're going to have some dead money on the books for the Bulls, but instead of it being $5.4 million, it's $6.8 million. That was a decision that was made today. So that, I would, just again, my opinion, I would have waived Saric instead, but they decided to waive Javon Carter. It might be a buyout, honestly, for Carter. If it is, great. We would save some money in terms of like not being as close to the luxury tax, but I'm going to assume that was just the decision made. If you're wondering about luxury tax, though, because we all know the Bulls won't ever hit the luxury tax because they're very cheap, the Bulls came into tonight with about $13 million before hitting the luxury tax. They obviously added 5.4 in. Therefore, we still have $8 million left remaining before we hit the luxury tax. So we are not that close to it, or like scarily close to it at all. We were able to absorb this $5.4 million from Dario Saric completely, and it doesn't affect us in terms of luxury tax at all yet. So no worries about that at all, at least for now with this trade. So again, just to update, this is my own personal cap sheet for the Chicago Bulls. This is where Javon Carter usually is, but instead now it's Dario Saric. So his $5.4 million goes onto the books for this season. Javon Carter is officially dead money. His $6.8 million is dead money. Now, we will see if the Bulls decide to stretch and waive Javon Carter's contract. I highly advise against that. I do not think that's a good decision. I just would rather just eat the dead money right now for this season. So, because just to be clear, if the Bulls decide to stretch and waive his contract, it would add money into these next 2 seasons here. The Bulls should have salary cap space in the next offseason, so any money, dead money, would count against that, and we do not want to eat into our salary cap space if we don't have to. So this is a good overall, I think, job by the Bulls. They got basically 2 second-round picks for free, right? Didn't have to trade anyone out. And also the other good thing that the Bulls did in this trade, that Zach LaVine traded player exception that they just used, or what was left remaining of it, to take Dario Saric's contract, that was about to expire on February 3rd, right? So when it comes to traded player exceptions, it lasts for a year. If you better use it or you lose it. Okay, so the Bulls were either they would have about $6 million left remaining, right? If they did not make this trade or didn't use it in any sort of fashion, it just goes away completely. So instead, though, they decided to use it. Again, it expired in just a few days here, so this is a good job of using your TPE because we've never really seen them use it, really. And they're able to use it before it went away, and you got 2 second-round picks out of it. So you used an asset that you had, which was your traded player exception, and you got 2 second-round picks out of it. That's good. Good job by the Bulls tonight by using this TPE before it expired, and you got 2 second-round picks and a salary dump. So I'm all thumbs up on this deal. Again, it's not earth-shattering or anything, but the Bulls need draft capital, and I think they did a good job with this tonight. Sorry, I'm gonna bring chat up onto the main screen now because it's a big time to talk here. I answered Thomas Banks' question. If you get an ad, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep them off, but I might miss the timer here. I think I heard Summer Golden State is the best offer because they have the most first to trade. So for Giannis, that is not the case. The Warriors have all their picks that they can trade. They don't have any extra picks that they can trade. They have their own first, but they don't have any extra picks that they can trade. I still think Houston's picks with that Brooklyn Nets pick that they have is the most valuable right now. So Houston has like their own plus others. So they can just, in terms of just raw quantity, they can still trade more first round picks than the Golden State Warriors can. So I disagree with that overall. Wherever you hear that from, I think they're trying to hype up the Warriors, their trade offer, which, don't get me wrong, I would love to see Steph Curry and Giannis play together. I don't think it's happening though, unless Giannis basically forces his way to Golden State, which would be a good kind of thing to see, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. If they trade Denny for Giannis, they still have a strong core with Sharp and Klingon and even Scoot. So my argument though is that I think that you would want Denny next to Giannis, plus then obviously Drew Holiday. So like personally, I'd be trading Sharp and Klingon and others, but I could be wrong. I'm not like a Portland Trailblazers like analyst or anything. So Denny's having an all-star caliber season, so I would like to see him next to Giannis personally, but I'm not sure though. Mostly like from time to time, hope this franchise moves on from some players up in rebuilds, probably for once. Love your analysis. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it, Chris, a lot. I appreciate all lurkers. Appreciate all support. Honestly, it's been a very good year for content creation for me, so I sincerely do appreciate all the support. Yeah, I love this sort of stuff. Like, this is honestly like the trades and everything. Like, it's perfect for me. So I'm very happy that we got to discuss the trade live, because I did not think the Bulls were going to do anything. I came into this deadline thinking the worst of the worst. It's like the Bulls are going to just sit on their asses and do nothing. But hey, we got something at least. They still need to trade Kobe, in my opinion. But hey, well, at least we're doing something right here. Oh, what picks did the Bulls get in this trade? So the Bulls got a 2027 pick from Cleveland and a 2029 second round pick from Sacramento. However, they are not from the two franchises, okay? Like, it's not like their own picks. This 2027 second round pick from Cleveland is Denver's. So assuming Denver's still going to be good next season, this is not going to be that high of a pick. And then for Sacramento's, like, they don't have their own pick for 2029, so we got a pick that is like very, very, very complex in terms of what we got. So Sacramento's own 2029 second round pick is going to Houston. So instead, though, we get this pick, which is the least favorable of Detroit, Milwaukee, and New York. As you can see here, though, it has gone through many different teams. So I unfortunately just think that this is not going to be that valuable in terms of like, oh, it's like a top 40 pick. I would love a top 40 pick, obviously. You know, that's still second round. But unfortunately, that is not the case, it seems like. Unless like all three of these teams are like bad this year, right? Which it could happen definitely with Milwaukee, but I'm gonna think that Detroit's still gonna be really good. So we get the least favorable of these three. So whichever team is the best record, we get that pick. Get it second round, but still, like, I do value second round picks. So I'm just happy that we got two for free here. But yeah, unfortunately they're not like Sacramento's own. Like, if it was Sacramento's own second round pick, I'd be very happy, like very, very happy actually. But unfortunately, that is not the case today. honestly see the Bulls being involved in at least 2 more trades. They'll probably facilitate another one. I hope so, Thomas. Like, I do think that if the Bulls can help facilitate other trades and get some good capital out of it, draft capital or prospects out of it, like that's good. Again, though, I just this front office I just have very little faith in. I know tonight's a good step, but it's not like you traded like a player or anything tonight. So I'm hoping that they do things right here. Peyton Watson is a perfect replacement, or possibly even better if we trade Kobe. So that's kind of my overall thinking. If you guys weren't here for last night or last stream, which was after that Heat game on Thursday, Peyton Watson is having an insanely good year. Now I will say it might just be a magnet ball January, but he's going to be an restricted free agent this upcoming offseason. And I don't know if Denver is going to have the money to pay him. Like, I think he's already like played it well enough to the point he's going to get like a pretty significant payday. But Denver has so many contracts on their books, and I feel like the Bulls, with their salary cap space again, I'm projecting the Bulls to have a good amount. Now, we'll see again. It matters what trades they do. Like this, for example, this money here was if we got Dorian Finney-Smith in return. And so even if the Bulls traded Kobe White for Dorian Finney-Smith, we would still have $45 million left to spend. That's with Io getting a new extension, by the way. And so you can throw $30 million to Peyton Watson, who's having, again, a really solid year, and see if you can get him. He's a 6'8" forward that's having a great shooting season overall, and a good defender. Okay, so as you can see here, 49% from the field, 42% from three-point range, 1 steal, 1.2 blocks per game, career high 14.7 points per game. Now again, it might just be a magnet ball January here, so we're gonna have to kind of wait and see how well he continues to perform. But this is a guy that I definitely think that the Bulls should be targeting. Credit to Ricky O'Donnell, because he was the guy that brought up Peyton Watson as an option on the Cash Considerations podcast with Jason Pat, I believe his name is. So credit to him. Like this was his idea. But just to be clear, like Peyton Watson, like here's his numbers in January. It is an absolutely insanely good January. So again, it might just be a magnet ball January, but if this continues, then I'm definitely throwing money at him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but prior to this trade, the Bulls didn't have a second round pick until 2028. You are correct, Thomas Banks. Yes, that is 100% correct. The Bulls do not have a second round pick, for 2026 for this upcoming draft as of right now. And then they traded their 2027 pick second round pick to Washington to get Julian Phillips. That was part of the Julian Phillips trade. So, yeah, you are correct. But now we will have a second round pick as of right now, assuming that we don't trade that pick. Which, again, I wouldn't be shocked if we see these picks be traded, unfortunately. But I think the Bulls should just keep them for now. Yeah, not like JR doesn't have money to pay the luxury tax, but if you could stay under it while still being a competitive team, then that's a win. Well, I mean, look, there are many teams that stay under the luxury tax and they go to the NBA Finals, okay? The Dallas Mavericks, when they went to the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving on the roster, they were under the luxury tax. They didn't pay luxury tax that year. So it's more so like it shows to me that, like, yeah, the Bulls aren't going to pay the luxury tax, but there's the front office is still given plenty to work with because they're going above the salary cap. They basically usually, most seasons, they usually go up to the luxury tax line. They just don't go into the luxury tax. That's plenty of money to go ahead and actually build a competitive roster. The problem is that the Bulls have not done that. So, yes, two things can be true. Reinsdorf sucks as an owner because he's not going to go into the luxury tax. But the Bulls front office is given plenty when I'm watching other teams have the exact same amount of money left to spend and go up to the luxury tax line, but don't ever go into it. And they don't have the luxury of having Chicago Bulls attendance at the United Center every night. They are still able to go and build a contending level team and even get to the NBA Finals, okay? That's the problem with AK. AK and Mark Eversley is that they like, you know, a lot of people want to try to give the excuse for them. It's like, oh, well, you know, they're not going to go into luxury tax still. Like, what do we expect? It's like, no, they're given plenty to still make a good team, even without going into luxury tax. The problem is that they just suck. So, yeah, it's for people trying, I just want to make this clear because, like, people, I think, kind of try to give AK and Mark Eversley some slack. Don't give them some slack. They've been given plenty to work with. And so I do agree that like building a good team with like under luxury tax is a good thing. It's like we give them props for that. However, the Bulls should be doing much better than what they're doing right now. Like they've been basically spending up to the luxury tax in like the past like 3 seasons, and they still weren't good. So I'm not gonna give them any sort of slack whatsoever. Just to be clear, okay? Oh wait, hold on. I'm about to go to oh yeah, here. Like we had $4 million last season up to the luxury tax, okay? That was last season, okay? Almost like $4 million to it. This season was even closer, I believe. Yeah, we were basically within $1 million of the luxury tax. Like, we have plenty to work with. We have plenty of money to work with. Like, there's plenty of money to go around. I guess now Yuki can become the third point guard behind Trey Jones and Josh. Well, I think Io might still be that right now, but I mean, Yuki has been awesome in his limited time that we've seen him on the court. I hope that he can, find a role. I would love to see him find a role here, but yeah, still, unfortunately, right now he still needs some time. Like I think in the G League, but I hope that he can find a role soon because like his game is fun to watch. But he was also impactful to that. He played important fourth quarter minutes tonight, and I'm very happy to see that. 2 second round picks, aka we'll draft undrafted free agents with them. It's kind of debatable even at the end of the day. Like if it's, let's say, like the 51st pick, like it's like, undrafted free agent versus like 51st pick, it doesn't really matter. I get what you're saying, but like I'd rather have the ammo, honestly. As a rookie, play the skinny guy. He's played in like I think a total of like 8 minutes or something this season. It's been very small amount, but unfortunately he had to get shoulder surgery and he's out for the rest of the season. So he has not played, unfortunately, really anything significant. When he did play, it was not looking good. When he was in the G League, though, before he did have his like shoulder injury, he was playing really well in the G League. Now again, it's G League, but he was playing really well in the G League. So it gives me a lot of hope for him. He's second youngest player in the draft. He's 18 heading into the year, into the season. So yeah, it's been definitely not a rookie season to remember for Noah Senge, but like what I saw in the G League, like I'm hopeful for his future. He was my number 1 draft choice, and it's because like the Bulls need potential, and he I think brought it. But he's definitely a project. I'm very much aware of it. Detroit can get Giannis without gutting their team, 100%. Detroit doesn't have to trade Kate Cunningham or Jalen Duren, and they would still have a very good trade package to offer to the Bucks. Also, Thompson would have to be part of it. Also, Ron Holland, right? But those are two, like, kind of young guys, right, on their rookie contracts that have some pretty serious potential, maybe, especially All-Star Thompson. And then Detroit has all their picks. So, yeah, it just shows you, like, the Bulls' ammo to make a big swing trade or a superstar trade is very low, unfortunately. Yeah, as Thomas Biggs said, Asenge looked good in the G League, but again, it's G League. I'm very much aware, like, Carlik Jones, who was on the Windy City Bulls, he was, like an MVP in the G League, but when he got to the NBA level, he was nothing. So, I don't know, like, at least in my opinion, I'm glad that Asenge looked good in the G League versus looking bad in the G League, right? Like, I know that there's some people are like, no, you probably, like, they would have felt better if he looked bad, but in my opinion, like, I think it was good that he looked good in the G League. If he looked bad in the G League, then I would have some really serious concerns, and that was for the guy that said I think the Bulls should draft him. So, but, again, he's raw, so I'm happy that he looked good in the G League, in multiple aspects, I think. What do you think the market is with draft capital after this trade? What do you mean by that, Noel? That's a very kind of loaded question. Because, like, I could take that in multiple different ways. Because, like, are you saying, like, what is the value of a first-round pick after this trade? Or what is the value of a first-round pick for the Chicago Bulls after this trade? Because I think those are two different answers. I think a lot of teams around the league really heavily value first-round picks right now. When it comes to the Bulls, I'm not so sure. They seem to not really want to acquire any right now. Great, Kobe, do you think we can expect first-round picks? I don't think you should expect it. I think the Bulls are probably asking for it right now and are trying to do anything their willpower to try to get one. But I think expecting one is just like you're expecting too much just because Kobe's an unrestricted free agent and you can't extend him. I mean, unless Kobe is like actually willing to take the extension, which is like it's like basically 4 years, 80 million. But I'm gonna make the bet that he's not gonna accept that extension. So if that is the case, then I think you should not be expecting a first round pick back, because teams are not going to be willing to expend that sort of asset for a guy that is going to soon be an unrestricted free agent and could just leave for nothing, right? The Julian Phillips trade sounds so silly. Goddamn! Oh, what's going on, man? Yeah. How the hell did Patrick Williams play over 30 minutes as a center and finish with only 4 rebounds? So I'll give Patrick Williams credit in the first quarter. He actually like kind of rebounded effectively. After that, it definitely was a little bit of a fall off. But I have to unfortunately give P. Will credit today, because it's like kind of one of his better games of the year, which again, low bar. But it's just because we saw legitimately like the worst of the worst in the last game. So yeah, that's kind of just where we're going at. But yeah, that's where we're at, Box, with it. But like, yeah, I know it's not exactly like the most impressive performance, but hey, at this point, what are you gonna do? How low is that bar though? Oh, like in the absolute dirt, like below dirt in the Earth's core. Like it's terribly low. I'm just saying, just because like Patrick Williams in that last game against the Heat, he was like honestly the worst player I've ever watched in like the last like 10 years of me watching basketball. It was so bad to watch in that last game. I was honestly like, bro, get this man off this team like forever. I need this man to like actually go pay for his sins, because he was so terrible in that game on Thursday. It was unbelievably bad for Patrick Williams, and this is again Patrick Williams standards that we're talking about. So at least he wasn't doing that today. So it's just kind of like just a little bit of a win that he wasn't doing that. But again, for a guy that's getting paid $18 million a year, what he's doing this season, even for this game, is not enough. That is very clear. I believe AKME would do a better job than this. Hope he could draft better. I remember what I wanted Denny. Yeah, I was also hoping that AK and Mark Eversley would have done a better job at this point. Bro, I hate my ignorant younger self, because when the Bulls hired AK, like, you could go and look on this channel. The videos are up. I was like all on board. I thought AK was going to come in and save this franchise, and I kept doing the hashtag trust AK. Like I kept saying it and everything. But as I've grown, obviously, you know, I've become, you know, wiser, but also just, I mean, hell, like I would hope that many people have understood at this point that what the front office has done has been an absolute terrible job. But yeah, I'm pretty upset with how this has gone. Now again, tonight was a decent trade. Good job overall tonight for the Bulls. But we need to like, that's not going to save their face. Like that's not going to save their reputation. They got to do the proper things tonight. They better not touch Io. That's all I'm gonna say. So here's the thing, Box. Like I'm Io tonight. Did you watch the game, by the way? Like, Io was insane tonight. I was watching a superstar, I felt like, tonight. Yeah, Io has honestly made it to the point, especially because when it comes to their, you know, way of building, right? Because like the Bulls are not going to rebuild, which is, it's pissing me off that they're not going to do it. But if the Bulls are truly just not going to rebuild, or actually just trying to be good, like, they just need to keep Io at this point, because he's too good. And what I witnessed tonight, it was this man took over the game. Io's taken over in the fourth quarter in the last 3 games. Again, massive Io DeSumo fan here. I'm the biggest Io DeSumo fan. I never expected Io to get to this point. So to see him, it was just insane just to see him like be the go-to man down the stretch of this game and do everything. He was hitting like threes in Miami Heat's face and just driving and getting to the rim with ease. Like, it was just incredible to watch. And so again, if the Bulls are like actually about like that we're gonna try to win, like I think you have to probably really consider just keeping Io. However, which I think that if it's the rebuilding route, then like if you are offered 2 first-round picks and they're unprotected, you should still probably take that deal. Will you get those 2 first-round picks? I don't know. Like I don't know at this point. I would honestly heavily question if you would. But if the Bulls decide if they only get like let's say 1 first-round pick in a trade offer and they decide not to trade Io, I think that's fine honestly, because I think the next contract for Io would still even be tradable. If whenever that is signed for him, assuming that the Bulls would actually want to keep him and he does want to come back. So sorry, hold on, I think I just got a text. But yeah, it's gonna definitely be interesting to see how the Bulls kind of value Io, because like what Io's done this year has just been incredible. And, bro, I let me just tell you, Box, right now, like if you have the time, I do think that you should go back and like watch at least the 4th quarter tonight and just watch Io just like it genuinely felt like the Bulls had a go-to man tonight. I understand the Miami Heat have a ton of guys out as well, but the Bulls have more guys out than the Miami Heat did. Io was like actually like a superstar in like the closing moments tonight. It was truly just like give the ball to him and let him take over. He in like the last like 4 minutes of the game, he basically like either scored or assisted in the last like 15 points for the Bulls. And was just doing everything. The offense ran through him in crunch time when the defense is locked in, and he was still able to find ways to get buckets. Like I don't know if I was gonna ever like continue doing this. Like this is something that it was like truly superstar level stuff I saw tonight from Io. I don't expect to see that from him moving forward, but the thing is though, is like he's done so well the last 3 games that I'm like, Io has taken over in stretches in the 4th quarter in the last 3 games. 2 of them are L's. Like the Miami Heat game wasn't L, so was the Indiana Pacers game, but the only reason why the Bulls even had a chance in the Miami Heat game was because Io went on like a 7-0 run by himself in like the last like 3 minutes of the 4th quarter to give the Bulls a chance. And so I'm just like, okay, he has gotten to the point now with his like shot making ability and his creation ability of still able to break down defenders at the top of the key and still get into the paint, and he finishes very well for a guard. That I'm just like, man, like I was thinking of like, yeah, the Bulls should probably just be trading for trading Io this season and just like whatever the best return they can get, which probably would be a 1st-round pick because he is extension eligible. That kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, like it probably is the best overall deal. I would be sick to my stomach just to see Io in a different uniform, but it's probably the best overall decision. But now it's like, I don't know if we should be trading him at this point. Like, I don't know if he might just be the 6th man in the future or what, but like 6 men in this league are very important. But he might actually be the starting shooting guard moving forward. Like, I don't think the Bulls are going to pay. I mean, honestly, I don't know at this point. We'll see what they decide with Kobe. But if they don't really believe in Kobe, like Io's right there to be that sort of guy. So, well, I love Io. Great to hear. Yeah, like Io's been like a big bright spot this season. He's had by far the best season of his career. His shooting splits are insane. It is honestly just insane just to see how Io has done this season. Never thought he'd be this good. Here's his shooting split. It's 15 points per game on 52% from the field and 45% from 3, 85% from the free throw line. Like, that is absurd numbers, especially for a guard. It is honestly absurd. Wait a minute, we got dragged into a 3-team trade where DeAndre Hunter was involved. We walked away with Sarge and 2 second-rounders. Okay, Box, let me be clear. I like the trade tonight, okay? Here's the trade, Box. I understand that, like, you know, we want to, like, don't get me wrong. We shit on this front office on this channel all the time. I do not like this front office. But here's the trade, Box, okay? The Bulls basically took a salary dump. They basically just took Saric and 2 second-round picks. They did not trade out anybody in this deal, okay? So the Bulls were not trading any picks in this deal. They weren't sending any picks out. They did not trade any players. They basically took Saric in with using whatever was left of that Zach LaVine traded player exception, and they got 2 second-round picks out of it for free, basically. So, before you go ahead and want to absolutely cut off AK's head on this, as a person who has absolutely hated this front office for a long time now, I'm good with this deal. This is a good deal in my opinion. Again, it's basically just a salary dump. The Bulls weren't trading anything in this deal, so why would you expect the Bulls to get Keon Ellis or DeAndre Hunter back? Hunter's also not had a good season, by the way, so like I honestly wouldn't want him here. And so the Bulls just took Dario Saric, and they got 2 second-round picks out of it. So I think this is good, Box, personally. I think a lot of Bulls fans also would argue this is good. The one thing that you could argue that was not good is that the Bulls decided to waive Javon Carter instead of Saric. But I think honestly, in terms of just this deal itself, it's fine. I'm not good. We draft like trash. We're not really buyers ever. But okay, Box. Even if this is used as ammo for the Bulls to buy, right? They have more ammo now. They basically just got 2 second-round picks for free. They got more ammo to use now, okay? So, like, I think that no matter which side you're on, like, I'm on the rebuilding side. I think the Bulls should rebuild. But even if you're on the buy now, or, like, you're trying to get this team to be better side, then this is just more ammo to have. You got Saric and 2 second-round picks for nothing, right? You got 2 second-round picks for nothing, and Saric is not on like a long-term deal at all. He's expiring after this year. Here's Saric here. It's $5 million. It's like it's not like an egregious amount of money. Like this is fine. I'm good with this, man. Like I understand. Like yes, we draft like shit, but like even if we are gonna use this for draft capital, like or as trade capital, like hey, we did it. This is fine. Doesn't matter if we make space in our salary for free agency because it never matters. Okay, but again, just to be clear, again, we have like even if you're all about this of like okay, yeah, the Bulls aren't going to do anything with their salary cap space. Don't get me wrong, I'm also with you on that. I'm concerned the Bulls aren't going to do anything with their salary cap space this upcoming offseason. But no matter what, at least the contract you took on in this deal, it's not going to add any extra years for future seasons. So. Like, I know that it's just like, I know you're kind of freaking out about it, but I'm like, listen, it's like, it honestly isn't like that big of a negative effect anyway. There's nothing really on here besides like, okay, yeah, you take on Sarge for this season and you got 2 second-round picks out of it. There's no long-term money on this at all. So to me, it's a thumbs up. So here's my projected salary cap space for the Bulls this upcoming offseason. And Peyton Watson's my guy. Well, we'll have to see if he's again, if this is just a magnet ball January or if this is actually legit Peyton Watson, but he's an upgrade over Isaac Okoro 100%. I think that he could if he is still going to score at this rate, he basically replaces Kobe scoring, but he's a 6'8" forward. And he even can play shooting guard, honestly. Restricted free agent. The Nuggets, their salary cap situation is pretty brutal for them. So I personally think that this is doable. Will the Bulls do it? Who knows? I'm kind of with Box that I have some fear. I said on the last stream, I said that if you're a person that does not want the tank, which obviously is too late to take now, but if you're a person that doesn't want the rebuild and you want this Bulls team just to be good and try to be good and do whatever they can to improve the team for next season, well, the Bulls have everything in their discretion and every ability to go and make themselves better this upcoming offseason. The Bulls, at least in my opinion, again, this is with an IO extension like in play here, around 15 million, who knows, but the Bulls are going to have enough money to go after Peyton Watson this upcoming offseason, okay? Well, I hit the wrong button. Here's the Nuggets cap situation. Like, they are strapped in with like their top 5 here. So Peyton Watson to me is very gettable. So just to be clear, if the Bulls do not upgrade their team, if they're trying to win, if they do not upgrade their team this upcoming offseason, there is no reason you should be backing AK whatsoever. He has absolutely already failed, but if he doesn't upgrade this team when he says he wants his team to be competitive, then he is intentionally doing nothing to help this team at all. So that's the reason why, like, you know, for a lot of people that are trying to like protect AK and whatever, I'm like, all right, you first and foremost, you shouldn't, but this offseason is going to tell a lot. If the Bulls don't do anything and they have this cap space available, and again, they're not rebuilding, like, oh my God, like, everybody should be calling for the front office to be fired, which they already should be, but everyone should be calling for it because there is no excuse whatsoever to not be able to upgrade this team this upcoming offseason. They have plenty of assets and cap space to help make this team better. 100%. The odds those two second rounders turning to anything remotely used for us are like 0.0. I understand, Box. Again, I understand. But ask yourself this question, okay? Would you rather the Bulls not have these 2 second round picks right now, or would you rather have them right now? And the only move you did is you just took on Darius Saric's contract. Like, yes, I understand that these second round picks have a low percent chance to do anything, but this is good overall deal for the Bulls, just in terms of just a straight up vacuum of how this trade is. This is good. It's nothing. It's not earth shattering. It's not franchise altering. It's good. It's a good overall use of your assets. This traded player exception, by the way, is going to expire in like 3 days. So you better use it or you lose it, right? And the Bulls decided to use it, and they actually got 2 second round picks out of it. Like, I'm not mad at that at all. Like, it's a good job by the Bulls. This alone is an A+ deal for any competent front office, but this is not. You know, I know everyone knows it, but I'm not saying that this is gonna become something great or anything like that. It's just that you're adding in overall, like, draft capital or even trade capital to your overall capital stock that you have. Like, I'm fine with this deal. This is good. Like, you have to take this and just like you just said, it's an A+ deal for any other competent front office. I'm like, okay, well, this deal alone, the Bulls didn't like sacrifice any of their trade assets in this deal, and you got 2 second round picks out of it in return. Okay, I'm good. Like, we didn't trade Kobe White in this deal. I agree with the trade. If they are a good front office, just a precursor to a big deal. Well, in my opinion, I would hope that this is like a precursor to that they're selling at this deadline and they're actually trying to get draft capital, which I've never seen them do. Like, they don't value draft capital usually. So this is like very weird to see. EQ, like, just to be clear, because I know that you haven't been watching the Bulls, but like, it's weird to see this front office even ever get back draft capital in a trade unless it's like absolutely forced onto them. Like, for example, we traded DeMar DeRozan to the Sacramento Kings in like a sign-in trade, but like DeRozan was an unrestricted free agent. Like, the Bulls really didn't have much of a say, and we got 2 second round picks out of the deal. But in general, the Bulls typically don't value any sort of draft capital. Like, there have been many times the Bulls could get like multiple second round picks in a deal, in my opinion, and they didn't get it. So to just see this at the trade deadline is very odd. That's something that I was just like, wow, like, hey, we actually did something where we added in draft capital. That's very, very odd. And I'm like, hey, good job. You actually decided to do it. Maybe stop saying, I mean, you're right. You, instead of actually saving your traded player exception that was never ever gonna do anything, right? You actually use your traded player exception that was gonna expire in 3 days, and you got 2 second round picks out of it. Like, I'm not mad at that at all. Like, that's just using your assets that you have, which is a TPE, and you used it. Like, good job. Like, I'm not. Man, this is not me saying that the Bulls did anything spectacular. I'm just saying that the Bulls did a good decision. Like, I'm not here to say that the franchise is saved or the front office is like totally back on the right track. No, I'm just saying that, like, hey, in a vacuum alone, this is a good deal. And attach that draft capital to Vooch and Kobe in order to trade them. That is my concern, Fox. Don't get me wrong. I've said that earlier. I'm very concerned that they're going to try to salary dump Vooch off this and use the two picks that we just got back in return and use that to try to salary dump Vooch, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to do this season. He's on an expiring contract anyway. So you should not be trading Vucevic or trying to salary dump him off. Now, if you could trade Vucevic for a bag of chips, yeah, I'm all for that. I don't want this man on this team, but do not attach any draft picks to just get Vooch off the roster. That'd be terrible. There's no reason to do that. He's expiring anyway. Just keep him for the rest of the season if you're going to do that. So, yeah, don't get me wrong, Box. I'm already concerned about that. I'm like concerned, like, people have brought up, like, Razi, I think it was like, the Bulls might be trying to get Misi. They've been trying to get Misi, it sounds like, that's been like a big rumor. He's at the center for the Pelicans, which, like, yeah, he's like a young player, 21-year-old center on a rookie contract. It's just like, I don't think you're just gonna get Messi for like Dalen Terry and like a couple second-round picks, though. I think you have to trade a first, and I don't think it's worth it. So, but if the Bulls are able to get Messi for Dalen Terry and 2 second-round picks, hey, I'm all for it. It's just, I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, don't get me wrong, I am very concerned that the Bulls are going to do something stupid. I was already kind of trying to figure out what exactly this means because they decided to keep Saric over Carter. I didn't fully understand that, honestly, which tells me that they're going to value Saric as like depth or something at center, which I'm like, well, that means you have 4 centers on the roster then. That doesn't make any sense. So I understand that both Saric and Smith are labeled as power forwards, but like they're both basically centers. As well as Vucevic and Collins. So I'm thinking that a Jalen Smith trade is like on the horizon here. I could be completely wrong, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. It could just be nothing. It could just be like they just wanted the extra depth at the big man position because Collins is not going to come back for at least like another month here. The last update we got about Collins was that he was still in a walking boot and he should be in a walking boot for another 2 weeks. So that means that he won't even start ramping up or his like getting back into shape until he gets out of his walking boot, which is going to be 2 weeks away anyway. So that's maybe what they're thinking. It's just like, oh yeah, Sarge offers some depth. I would argue against that. Sarge has done nothing this season. He has been a horrible player when he has played. So I don't know what exactly they're looking at, but you know, again, I'm happy with the second round picks, honestly. At this point, I flip him for crumbs in a drink that's already gone flat. Oh, 100%, yeah. I'm trading. If I could just dump off Vooch without giving up anything, 100% doing it. I do not need him on this team right now. But again, that's not going to happen. They need a space to accept the trade, so it's just not important. Wait. What are you saying? Personal freedom. Because again, like, to be clear, Sarge is already on the books. Like, the Bulls decided to waive Javon Carter for Sarge. They decided to bring on Sarge. So, I don't know what you're saying here. Because, like, my point is of like, what I'm saying is this. Like, if the Bulls are basically just if they don't value Sarge at all, right? Then they should have just waived him now. But instead of waiving him, they decided to waive Javon Carter instead, right? So if Sarge is like completely useless to them, then you just waive Dario Sarge. He's making less than Javon Carter this season. So instead of you having $6.8 million of dead money on the books, you have 5.4. But instead, though, they decided to waive Javon Carter. So that means that, at least in my opinion, that they value Sarge to some degree. Sarge is not important. You cannot waive him now? No, you can. You can waive him now. You could have waived him right now, but and not waive Javon Carter. And the Bulls could even still waive him now, but it would just be more dead money in the books. So it doesn't make any sense. But you can waive Dario Sarge. If you're wondering, like, can the Bulls waive Sarge even though they just traded for him? Yeah, they can. They could have waived him immediately. Personal freedom. What are you talking about? I know I'm right about this one, man. You know, don't get me started about this. Like, if you're trying to do trade rules and everything, this is not the place to try to make an argument about that. I know I'm right. You can waive a player that you just acquired in a trade. That is perfectly legal. I'm telling you right now, you got to fact check yourself because I know I'm right about this. You can waive a player that you just acquired. It is totally legal to do that. You still need space to accept the trade? What do you mean by this? I already told you how the trade is possible. You need a spot for the trade. Yes, but my point is instead of waiving Javon Carter, okay, you can listen. You can accept the trade and have 16 roster or 16 spots filled. Okay, you have 16 players on your 15-man roster. Okay, but instead of you waiving a player already on your roster, you are allowed to waive the player that you just acquired. So instead of waiving Javon Carter to make it 15, you waive Dario Saric to make it 15. No, personal freedom, you are wrong about this. I am 100% positive about this. You are 100% wrong. Oh my god, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just... We're gonna have to actually do this. I'm telling you right now, you are 100% wrong on this deal. If a player is traded and then waived by his new team, which is what we could have done today, okay? Like, you're 100% wrong on this, man. I'm telling you right now. It is totally legal to go ahead and do this. You could have waived Dario Saric today. Let's go to... okay. I guess I'm just gonna have to find just some sort of transaction that would fit this sort of criteria. Five. Oh, that. Da -ba -da. Man, it was honestly, I forgot what last year's deadline was just. It was just like, what? Al Anderson. Oh. Ah. Let's see. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Yeah, but what Box is saying is right. Like, you can't have 16 players on your roster, like, heading into, like, the next game, right? But you're allowed to go ahead and take that player in if you fully, like, if you're fully within the legal trading requirements, which the Bulls are, right? The Bulls can just go ahead and just take on that salary because they have the TPE. They can just go ahead and then accept that, and then their next move is they waive Sarge. Like, they have the full rights to do it. They don't need to have the open 15 roster spots. Like, or they don't need like the open roster spot. I'm trying to figure out like a trade that has recently happened where a lot of pieces were moving, and it was like, okay, well, they have to like waive someone that's within the deal. God, well, there has to be a Bulls trade that would have been like that would have worked as part of this. Shit, man, I can't think of like an actual option here. Oh yeah, Jameer Nelson, right? Or wait, what was he? It was Jameer Nelson and someone else. God, I know that was a long time ago for people, but like I remember that like the Bulls were like trying to like get rid of him, but like they had too many like people on the roster. Maybe I'm misremembering that. Man, I honestly can't think of it. Like I'm looking through like all these recent trades here, like in the past like 2 years, and nothing like fits the criteria, unfortunately. God, let me try to think of like Bulls years. It's like there's like Levine trade last season doesn't count. Or sorry, that doesn't fit the criteria. Well, like the Bulls, they could have waived like Kevin Huerter or Zach Collins, but obviously it's like no, you're not gonna waive those guys. So instead they waived Torrey Craig and Chris Duarte. Which by the way, they waived those guys like much later than then like when the trade was finalized, like they were able to even wait like a little bit to figure out, okay, well, we have too many guys on our roster, like who are we actually going to get rid of here? Because they were thinking about waiving Javon Carter, which then automatically just shows, like, again, like, you're allowed to go past the limit. Oh, Melo. Yeah, I guess that's actually it. But I'm trying to figure out with Melo, though, like, do we have an open roster spot, though? Like, because, like, what Personal Freedom's saying is that if you already have 15 people on your roster, then you need to create an open roster spot to take the guy in. Like, that has never been a rule, at least from my understanding. But I'm trying to think of like a specific situation where it's like we know that like, oh, there's already like a surplus, or the roster's already completely filled, but they take in another player, but then like they would waive that player that they took back. I'm just trying to think of like some situation, because like usually like if you're like acquiring a guy, like you usually don't typically just like waive him like after. What Box is saying in chat is my understanding, and I know I've seen it somewhere where it's like they got a player and it's just like, yeah, we're moving on from you immediately. But yeah, again, I'm trying to think of the Melo trade. Like, did the Bulls have a full roster at that point? I think they actually might have. Let's see if we could find that. What year was that? The Bulls had an open roster spot. Let's see here. Trevor, they traded for Willie Reed and then we immediately waived him. But yeah, let's check the Willie Reed. Okay, I mean, again, I'll have to figure this out fully, but like this is the trade that I was thinking of. I just couldn't remember if the Bulls had like if they actually had open roster spots or not when this trade happened. But like as you see here, like the Bulls immediately waived Reed following the trade. Like again, I have to figure out if this was if Willie Reed was I actually think it was like, because like we traded Jameer Nelson to the Pistons and then we just got Willie Reed back in return, but just like, yep, all right, moving on. I think that would make a lot of sense, honestly. I'll check the Trevor Ariza trade. I saw that box. What year was this? Sorry, I completely forgot what year this. 2018. 2022. Let's see here. I mean, we even had two-way contracts. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. Now, granted, okay, I'll give Personal Freedom this. Like, if there is like a new rule in the new CBA about this, I'm not aware of this, but I don't think there's been any rule about that at all. There's nothing that tells me that at all about this. We didn't say anything away from it, then we had an open roster spot box, like, so that wouldn't apply to the situation. Because like that's the whole point about this, is that like we basically had 16 players on the roster, like, or at least what we just did here, and then we can waive the player that we just traded for, right? If I'm not mistaken though, is like I think with I mean, here's Willie Reed if you're wondering. Also Tony Allen too, but I wish we could fully. I have to find a way to see if I could find every single like trade that happened here, because I'm pretty sure that when we acquired like Tony Allen and all these guys and Jameer Nelson and others, like we were like over 100%. And so we had to go ahead and figure out what to do with them, and so obviously we just eventually waived them. But I remember we got Noah Vonleh back in one of these deals. Let's see, am I able to, okay, I'm actually able to do this. Okay, yeah, I'm right. Yeah, look, so, let's see. Yeah, so the Bulls, they traded Nico Mirotic for Omar Ashik and Tony Allen. Man, the Bulls I forgot the Bulls got a first for this trade. And so then we had to waive Quincy Bondexter, and then we go on and here's the trade again. And then we're still over, right? And so we go ahead and we trade Jameer Nelson for Willie Reed, and we have to waive him. The Bulls get Noah Vonleh, but then we still have Tony Allen, and we waive Tony Allen. Like that. This is exactly what I'm saying, that we had a surplus of guys. But the guys that we just traded for, which in this case was like, yeah, here's like the Tony Allen and everything. But then we go ahead and just waive guys that we just got. Like, unless something has completely changed or I'm just completely wrong. But I'm pretty sure this is it. I'm really trying to think of like some other deal here where it's like, yeah, this player, like they acquired this player and it's, oh yeah, we're already over, and then we just move on from that guy. I'm just trying to think of like any sort of recent trades that was like part of that, where the player was part of a deal and just immediately waived from the team because it would have been too many roster spots. Yeah, I'm having a hard time like just like kind of just randomly like thinking of one, because like obviously, you know, again, if you're gonna like go in and acquire somebody in any sort of fashion, you're probably just gonna end up just like eventually keeping them. But yeah, I'm trying to remember some of these other trades here these days. What do we do here? I forgot. $2019. Oh, right. Yeah, this. Forgot about this. This time. These are great times. Yeah. Was that a surplus though? God, you guys remember this trade? Oh my god. Spencer Dinwiddie, man. Yeah, unfortunately the Bulls are just stupid with their... Well, one, they just haven't made trades. That's part of it. But, man, I'm really trying to figure out any other sort of deal that would have worked. Oh. Let's check back. Let's see. Rockets. Yeah, what was the Trevor Ariza trade? That's a long time ago. What did Detroit do then? Oh, they end up keeping him. Where? God, man, I'm trying to figure out just some other deal. Ah, God, the previous CBA was just so much easier just to trade guys and just move pieces around if necessary. Oh my God. Other trade ID. I'm trying to go through like Milwaukee Bucks trades now because like I know that's a team that I've like kind of kept up with, but even for Milwaukee, it's like it's blurry for me of like who has been like traded for them. Okay. I'm trying to think back to there was a big trade that happened in God, what was it, 2016 or something? It was like a massive like 4-team deal or something with the Thunder. It was like earlier, was it 20? What year did they get? No, Paul George was already here. That's not it. What year was it that they got? Oh, here. But no, this doesn't work either. I do remember this sort of shit though. Sometimes I'm able to like kind of think way back to like these random trades that did happen. And then was it 20 Magic trade? Oh, 14. What year did they trade Aaron Aflalo? I always forget which year it was. Ah, why can't I think of anything? I'm trying to think of something, and like some just simple deal here. Oh, let's see. Sense. God. Oh, there. God. My computer's hitting me. Out of tabs I have open right now. All right, yeah, I can't think of anything right now. I do apologize for looking for so long, but unless I might actually just be wrong, but I'm also just like, I'm not fully seeing anything that's like, yeah, like this is exactly the rule is though. All right, I mean, we'll go off this, but like, I guess if this is exactly what we're going off of, then this means that you do have to do it then. But like, still though, it's not very clear. Like, you should still be able to just waive the person, I think. Because again, like, the Bulls aren't doing this in terms of like, oh, where we have to like match the money properly. Like, they have the money already matched. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I guess this is like they're just not allowed to just waive that person. So if that is the case, yeah, I'm sorry, personal freedom. If I am wrong, I sincerely I do apologize. But until I'm like fully told though that like, no, the rule is this, which I guess this is what this is saying. But I still feel like that there have definitely been instances where I'm like, no, this is like a 2-for-1 deal, and then one of the players gets waived in that deal because a team had 16 players then on their roster if they decide to do that trade. So, I'm trying to think of some other example, but I really can't think of anything right now. But yeah, sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, I am fully wrong about this. Let's go off the fact that if I was fully wrong. If I am fully wrong, then the Bulls obviously, then the obvious person to go ahead and make a roster spot open is just play Javon. That does make a lot of sense. So if that is the case, which again, I'm still doubting if that is the case though, because I swear to God that they're allowed to have 16 players on their roster for the time being. I'm still going back to the. Let me go. But yeah, if that is the case, and that they actually had to like waive someone off the current roster to do such a trade, then yeah, waiving Javon Carter makes the most sense. Would you have waived Dalen Terry? Let's see. I'd consider it, honestly. It is a less of a contract, and I don't know exactly what the Bulls plan out with DT, because they're gonna have to obviously make a decision here, but restricted free agency is not. I don't know. I feel like there's no reason to honestly have him here. So if the Bulls wanted to waive DT, go like that would have been fine as well. I feel like, but end of the day, I do think that it was Javon Carter is probably the best overall decision. All right, let's see here. Again, I am definitely concerned right now that the Bulls are gonna just like package these picks and just send out someone else in like a salary dump move or whatever. Which would have then also just doesn't make any sense to me, because it's just like, wouldn't you just do that sort of deal to like almost around the same time and not have to waive somebody and add dead money to your books? But which makes me then fully believe now that like the Bulls are going to trade one of their big men at some point. Now, obviously Collins is injured, and so with that alone, it kind of gives them excuse to have these like 4 centers on their roster. But until then something does change, but yeah, until something does change, and like assuming that like, yeah, they're not trading Vucevic because like no one's going to trade for that man, and I'm assuming no one's going to also trade for Zach Collins unless it's a salary dump move, because he's just been injured for most of the season. And I'm looking at Jalen Smith being moved. I don't love it, because again, I would much rather trade Vucevic or Collins before I would trade Smith. But if I can get good value for Smith, then it's probably the overall right decision. You should probably be looking to trade him now. I'm more just concerned about the fact that like, yeah, they kind of believe in Saric as like, yeah, he's a backup or something, when he is not even getting minutes, and like Sabonis was like out for a long period of time this year. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about how they're going to exactly view Saric here. But yeah, maybe they just go ahead and just waive Saric eventually, but that might just come at a later time. Go ahead and do that. So yeah, quite interesting though. to see how exactly they're going to view Sarge, and if this means that another trade's on the horizon, because I'm trying to figure out what exactly like a Jalen Smith trade's going to look like. I'm still not too sure. I've gone through a lot of the teams, and I nothing really like jumps out to me as like something that makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't think the Thunder would be interested, but I guess there's like a world. Denver already has their big man situation already kind of wrapped up, and like they need Aaron Gordon back, but like they'll be fine with the power forward position. Like the Warriors like kind of makes sense, but I feel like that if you're gonna be trading for Jalen Smith, they would rather trade user assets for something more impactful. I guess I haven't looked at the Lakers. That's an actual option, I guess. I already tried the Clippers, but like I think they're just kind of stuck with their current situation. Like John Collins has been really solid for them, and obviously they have Zubac, who they're most likely not trading unless it's like a big upgrade for them. So, yeah, I don't really see him going to the Clippers, and then Houston, I guess, but I feel like that if they're gonna trade with the Bulls, it's for Kobe instead. Like they have Capella as like their backup center. And like he's like, you know, he's like playable, right? Like there's like no need for the Bulls, or sorry, for the Rockets to go ahead and like trade for Jalen Smith when like they need guard help like desperately right now. And so like that brings us out east, right? And I already talked about the Boston Celtics, but it have to involve Sam Hauser, and I don't think the Celtics do that. Unless they're just gonna take the TPE and use it on Jalen Smith, but I think they'd rather use it on something different. Detroit has their big man already with Durant and Isaiah Stewart. The Knicks have Mitchell Robinson and Thomas Brown. Karl-Anthony Towns, excuse me. And Cleveland basically already runs like Mobley and Allen as like their centers, pretty much. I guess like Dean Wade's like their other one. Philly has Drummond as a backup to Embiid, and I feel like he's actually like been like pretty decent. Like that's not like a big cause of concern, honest. And the Raptors are the Raptors, and like they're definitely interesting. I know we've talked about Mamu before. I don't know if I feel like the Raptors wouldn't do it either, but I guess the one trade I haven't heavily considered yet, like this would just be like the Raptors, like they're just trying to move off of Pirtle, I guess. But I don't think the Bulls would really want Pirtle's money. I know there was a time in on this channel I was like heavily looking to like acquire Jakob Poeltl for this Bulls team, but now I don't think is the time for that, honestly. Yeah, I'm not sure what Jalen Smith would go. Like I know like Minnesota is like actually like a thought, but again, like I think Baron J officially at this point makes a lot of sense. Someone just did this trade for the Pistons. This was just successful for this was successful for someone on Spot Track here, and it's Karis LeVert for Kobe White. So Kobe would go into Detroit, and it would be costing 2028 first round pick from Detroit, unprotected, and 2 second round picks. One is top 55 protected, so you would only get it if it's 56th through 60th. And then the other one is 2027 second round pick. It's Dallas's pick, and it's unprotected. So I mean, yeah, if the Bulls are offered that, I think you should accept that deal. I just don't think the Pistons would actually do that sort of deal, honestly. Because I don't think the Pistons will be willing to trade first round pick, and also the Pistons need to pay Jalen Duren this upcoming offseason, so I don't really see it. So if AKME traded Kobe to the Magic, it would have been better. Are you talking about last season, DQ? Are you talking about last season when that like trade offer, like we think that was on the table, like Kobe getting traded to the Magic? I don't exactly remember the whole trade offer, but it was rumored that the Magic wanted Kobe. But if you're talking about that deal, like yeah, if the Bulls traded Kobe last season at the deadline to the Magic, that would have been better for them because Kobe would not be on an expiring contract, and the Magic would have been willing to give up more. The Bulls would have had better trade leverage because like they would just be like, well, all right, well, we'll just hold on to Kobe this season. That would have been like their trade leverage basically. So like you would have had to like give like an actual like sorry I hit my mic. You would have actually had to give like an actual offer for the Bulls that would have been good. Now, if the Bulls were offered a first round pick last season and they didn't accept it for Kobe, I'd be very pissed if that was actually true. Again, though, I don't fully know the details of what was being discussed between the Magic and the Bulls, but if that was actually the case, where the Bulls got like a first round pick from Orlando, Orlando was offering a first round pick for Kobe, they should have done it. So yeah, that it would have been better. I understand what some people are saying of just like Kobe had such like a great March after like, oh, see, like we made the right decision. The problem with Kobe is just that he's never been consistent. I was hoping for like this season coming in that he was gonna like break that sort of narrative about him, and he would show more consistency. But for the way for him to be effective as like an actual all-star caliber player, like he would have had, he has to like score like, you know, mid-20s, high 20s points per game, but also then be much more consistent with his overall shooting splits. And it's just unfortunately for him, like even last season where he played most of the games, like it was, you know, like he had like a pretty nice overall start in like the first like couple games, and then like his shooting just like fell off a cliff like November into like December, which he shot horribly in December, but then like in March he was hitting everything, right? I mean, like great March. Unfortunately, I don't value March that much when it comes to NBA basketball in terms of like trying to like value or scout or analyze a certain player or whatever, but yeah, Kobe unfortunately just throughout his career just has never been like consistent, and unfortunately this season is just it just adds to that narrative for him. Unfortunately, like it's been like a disappointing just like oh whoops, very quiet. It's been a disappointing like overall injury season for Kobe, but yeah, it's still unfortunately when he has played, it hasn't been much better. That's the problem with him. So yeah, the Bulls are in a bit of a bind. We'll see if the Bulls actually trade Kobe. But I'm definitely on like, yeah, we need to trade Kobe. So we'll see what ends up happening when it comes to what the Bulls do. But yeah, it would have been better if they just decided to just trade Kobe last season. They gave up a ton for Bane. So would the Bulls have gotten that sort of draft capital back for Kobe White last season? No. I don't exactly remember the full details. I think it was 4 first, right, for Desmond Bane, that the Magic gave up. Yeah. So the trade, I mean, I know this is Google AI. I don't know if we should fully trust it, but it was 4 for unprotected first round picks and a pick swap. So 4 first, basically. Yeah, like this is cool to see, obviously, but they wouldn't have gotten this in return for Kobe. I would have gotten a first at least, but I think the Bulls last season were like trying to get like 2 firsts for Kobe for some reason, and now of course they're just like begging for a first now on like just 1 first round pick, which is just like it is just, yeah. Again, they've just played their cards so terribly that they backed themselves into this corner, and now Kobe's value is at an all-time low, and now like you're begging for a first when you could have gotten a first last season. So it's just bad asset management, unfortunately. I'm disappointed by it. I think a lot of us are, and we hope that we see a solid overall deadline here. And this, again, I understand a lot of people are not going to be happy if Kobe is traded, and it's just second round picks in return, but that's the reality of the situation. He hasn't played well. Like, he has not boosted his trade value with his play. If anything, he's made it lower. And then again, last year's contract, like it just keeps declining his value, and then he's been injured. He's had injuries to both of his calves this season. Like, if I'm another team, I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to give up too much for him because like he might just get injured for like in the last 2.5 months we're gonna have him here. Like, he might just get injured. So there's just nothing that makes sense to give up, honestly. Just want a smart front office, trade a player a year too early instead of too late and draft well. I'm hoping, man. Like, the problem is with how the Bulls, the way that they operate, right? Like front offices in some aspects, like if they're gonna be like aggressive constantly, and you know they're aggressive in the free agency market and they're aggressive with trades, like if they end up making like a trade too late, like they're fine. Like they make up for it. The way the Bulls operate though is like they're running such like a fine line that if they end up not trading someone when they should have, like it really hurts them now. Because they're not gonna, like, for example, like they're not just gonna trade Kobe now and like go and try to make another massive move later to like try to see if they can like supplement it. I'll be like, okay, well, we messed up here, but we're still gonna go ahead and make some other moves and like go and be aggressive and like try to make up in free agency or try to make it up in a different trade, right? They're trying to do this stupid line where they're like, we're trying to develop guys and bring in a bunch of young talent, but it has to be young talent with experience, and still try to be competitive. Like, we're trying to develop these guys that we think are, which has been their mojo, basically. Like, you can go and look it up. The front office has said this, like AK himself has said this, is that we're trying to get young guys with experience, young players with experience, and still trying to be competitive. Which is just like, I don't know how the hell you can do two things at once like that. Like, I feel like that if a team is trying to win, it's going to come at the detriment to the younger players' development. If a team is trying to just fully develop, though, it's gonna cost you wins. That's just how it's going to go. And so, without any extra first-round picks to their name, right, because the Bulls, the only first-round picks that they have are their own, and maybe this Portland pick that might convey. And honestly, this season might be the year it does convey, but we'll see. But there's still a high chance it doesn't. Like, it doesn't put you in a good spot right now to be trying to run this fine line of like, oh, we're going to go ahead and still try to be competitive, but still try to develop our young guys at the exact same time. I'd be okay with that sort of like idea if the Bulls had like a boatload of draft picks still. A lot of first round picks that were not just their own, but it would allow them to really build through the draft or have a bunch of ammo to like go ahead and make trades. But instead, they don't. And so it basically runs a fine line of like, okay, well, we're really trying to be competitive, but our young players have to develop somehow into being very good quality players like almost immediately. And I'm like, how the hell are you going to do this? Yeah, it would definitely make me feel a lot better if the Bulls did like almost be like almost too proactive, like you said, where it's like you traded someone too early when it's like, yeah, this makes like it's like the right time to trade him. Now like, you find out then like, you know, the following season it's like they raise their value even more. It's like, okay, well, we couldn't really have predicted that, but like we still decided to make the move at the proper time and then, you know, potentially wait too long for it to end up being a negative value overall. Like that would definitely make me feel a lot better with this front office. And obviously drafting well fixes a lot of issues, right? But they haven't done that. Buzella seems like a good pick. Io is obviously a good pick in the second round, but I mean, Patrick Williams was their first ever pick, and he's turned into the worst player of all time. They've traded multiple first round picks. One became Franz Wagner, who unfortunately he's never been an all-star, but he's had all-star caliber seasons for the Magic. He just has been injured a ton. The other turned into Jet Howard, which is, I guess, not really too bad. But then in their other draft moments, like they drafted Marko Simonovic in the second round, turned into nothing. Julian Phillips they traded up for, and he's still on the team. Unfortunately, he has not developed the way I thought he would, and he's not really turning into much. Dalen Terry was a first round pick, 18th overall. A lot of people were hella critical of that pick, and I am as well. And he has not turned into anything. He to me is not an NBA player still. He's on his fourth year this year. My I missing anybody? I don't think I am. Is then it was Buzelis, and then most recently it was Asenge. So, yeah, I don't think I'm missing anybody. I do apologize. But, yeah, the drafting process has just not been good. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Io's been good. I appreciate what Io's become. And honestly, he might just be too valuable at this point to even give up. Asenge is still just like, we have to wait on him still. Like, it'd be stupid to try to like kind of make a overall proclamation on how Asenge is as a player when he's barely played in the NBA his rookie year. So, which I know that some people are like, that they're critical of it. I think the only reason why that there's just like some valid criticism about drafting Asenge was that if the Bulls are going to try to be competitive now, then why are you drafting a project? Like, this first round pick could have been helpful for you to like actually be good this season. And so you could have drafted someone a little bit more ready. But instead, though, you drafted the guy who is like very clearly the most raw overall kind of build right now. And he's gonna need a lot of time to develop, and you instead drafted him, and he has like no room to grow on this roster because he's behind. He's like legitimately the 15th man on this roster because he's just not NBA ready right at this current moment in time. So, however, even if someone's not NBA ready, like we've seen guys like TheSlamDuncan, for example, who like they come into the NBA and they're very clearly not NBA ready. But you're still seeing though, like the Hornets in TheSlamDuncan's like rookie year, like they still like they still played. And it was not pretty, but like these guys need the reps to like get through some of their like hard like growing moments, like growing pains. This was TheSlamDuncan's first season as in the NBA. He, started a couple of games, but like, he only averaged 20 minutes per game, but like his shooting percentages were atrocious. It was 33% from the field, 28% from three. Like, he is nowhere near an NBA player with these numbers that he's putting up. But this season, though, and his limited time that he's been available, like, he's obviously significantly improved. And I look at this as just like, it's a very similar kind of idea of what I think what the Bulls should have done with Asenge if he was healthy. Like, I'm not saying that like TheSlamDuncan is like suddenly like blossomed into something great. I'm just saying that like he got to go through a lot of his like growing pains in his rookie season that Asenge is not going to be able to do, obviously due to injury, but he was never going to be able to do this even if he was healthy because he was so far deep in the bench. Like, Billy wasn't going to play him. And so now, like, TheSlamDuncan this season, like, he's got through some of, like, that growing pains, got some experience, and understood what to do with his offseason workouts, and was able to, like, work towards that, and, like, he's shooting, like, significantly more efficient from the field. Like, it's still not great numbers, but it's just like, hey, we didn't expect him to, like, give us, like, a bunch of, like, good production early. Like, he was a project. So, I don't know. It's just, the way that the Bulls handle everything is so frustrating for me. I think tonight was good. Like, good trade overall tonight. I just don't understand what exactly the plan is, though, for this deadline still. Like, we keep hearing all these, like, trade rumors about Kobe, but it seems like the Bulls are trying to, like, actually add to the team, which is just, like, there's no reason to add to this team. This team is shit. I cut the Bulls slack most of the time because the first year I watched, they won 6 of 8 championships, but I've been watching the Pistons, guys, Bucks last over and over. Oh, Last of Us. Yeah, like, I don't blame you, man. Like, those are obviously significantly better teams right now. Bucks, not right now, I guess, but they have actually a superstar in the roster. But yeah, I don't blame you. Those are better teams, and they're more fun, I think, to watch, honestly. If you're just like an in general NBA fan, like, I would definitely recommend you to go watch those teams instead. Maybe not the Bucks. The Bucks are having a horrendous season, honestly. But yeah, I mean, the Pistons seem like a contender this season. The Cavs are definitely a little bit underperforming from what I thought they would be, but they're still better than the Bulls. They have Donovan Mitchell, and they're better to watch. And then the Bucks, when they were good, were A fun team to watch with Giannis. Which, I mean, he's still very good when he is available to play. So, yeah, I don't blame you. If you're not watching the Bulls, I don't blame you. Like, to be clear about this channel, by the way, like, I know that some people are, like, trying to figure out, like, maybe if you're, like, new to this channel or whatever, like, I want to make this clear about this channel. This channel's not me ever going to tell you, anyone that comes in to, like, yeah, you should tune in to watch the Bulls. I would never tell you that. What I will tell you, though, is my overall analysis on the Bulls, like, what I think the Bulls should be doing, how players do. I do film breakdown and everything like that, when I want to, obviously. But I do break down a bunch of stuff. However, I would never tell you, like, oh, you should tune into the Bulls. Like, I honestly probably would say if, like, you're not, like, a diehard Bulls fan and, like, don't want to, like, spend $20 a month to watch the team, which I don't blame you, like, I would recommend to go watch someone else. Like, go watch another team. Just tune into all the nationally broadcasted games, because, like, there are nationally broadcasted games almost every night in the NBA right now. I think NBC, like, you no matter what, you'll get at least one NBC game on Tuesdays. For free if you just have an antenna. Like, those are definitely worth tuning in, because I do think that the NBA, I know a lot of people are like, it's all about it's soft or whatever, or just, you know, there's some rules that they're not very in favor of, or it's like the basketball doesn't seem as, like, exciting or whatever. I disagree about that last point. I do think that there are some rules that I disagree with right now, but I still think this is a very, very awesome product to watch. I thoroughly enjoy a lot of other NBA teams when I tune in to watch those games. The Bulls, on the other hand, I'm usually not very excited to be watching them, but I'm a diehard Bulls fan, and so they always come first, right? You know, there could be, unless it's, like, obviously, like, playoff time, but, like, you know, if the Bulls are on, I'm watching them no matter what, even if there's, like, a good game on ESPN or something. So, yeah, I do think that, yeah. If you're not, like, a diehard Bulls fan, or just, like, you know, Bulls into, like, forever, like, you're never gonna support another team, like, yeah, I would definitely recommend that you don't watch the Bulls. You don't need to, like, tune into just the mediocrity that's being put on display every night. But if you are a diehard Bulls fan and want to hear my analysis and talk with others in chat and get my analysis on all different aspects, whether it comes to just the game being played, the certain players, to the trade, salary cap, and then obviously, like, film stuff, like, I'm here. I will say that with my spring semester in school, I'm definitely a little bit tight in terms of, like, time overall. Like, I've had to miss some games recently, or some post-game streams recently, but I'm hoping to continue just to do the best I can here, and no matter what, you'll at least get like 2 streams from me per week, assuming that there's at least 3 Bulls games on during the week. So obviously right now the Bulls are in the middle of four games in 5 nights, which is pretty rough for them. So that's why I've been here Thursday, and then obviously today. So moving on, though, to just kind of look ahead here for the Bulls moving forward. I've been watching you for years, actually. I love the Bulls, but won't pay until they're good again. Hey, man. So first and foremost, again, thank you for supporting. Every view, like, you know, I don't exactly look at it as, like, a view count, but it does tell me, like, people do support the content. Like, that's really, it feels awesome just to know that, you know. So thank you so much for supporting me. But yeah, again, I don't blame you. Like, you don't want to pay Chicago Sports Network, which is a crappy network, $20 a month. Yep, don't do it. If you really do need to watch the Bulls, there are many different ways that I will not say on stream that you can go and watch them for free. But the quality obviously isn't as good. But I will not say how you do those things, but I'm sure we're all aware of how you do it. But yeah, go ahead and do that if you so desire to figure out how to exactly do that. All right. We're looking ahead, though. These next 2 games are extremely important just to kind of see what the Bulls maybe do at this deadline. I'm going to hope that tonight is not another excuse for the Bulls to buy at this deadline. Like, I'm hoping AK isn't taking this win as like, oh, see, we can beat Miami in the play-in. Let's go and add to this team and go ahead and spend our first-round pick this year. That's going to make me lose my mind. That's going to be a terrible decision overall. If the front office uses this game as an excuse to be like, yeah, we're gonna buy at the deadline now. But guess what? We get to go against Miami tomorrow again. So third game in a row against them. This is gonna be the fourth game in 5 nights. Okay. It is also the fourth game in 5 nights for Miami. So it's not like there's like a big rest advantage for either team. Obviously the Bulls would not be at a rest advantage. You typically don't see this anymore in the NBA. But Miami also has to do this 4 games in 5 nights due to that game that was canceled. Somehow, some way, there was a weather postponement in a Bulls game this season because the United Center had condensation from the ice under the court. And the Bulls and Heat game that was scheduled for January 8th unfortunately got rescheduled to last Thursday. So because of that, we've had to do this 4 games in 5 nights, and so everyone's gonna be really tired. With that being said, though, I'm gonna assume, and again, I'm assuming here, maybe they actually don't play him because he is in a lot of trade rumors, and there's a high chance he does get traded here. But Kobe should be back, I think. I was actually kind of shocked to see that Kobe wasn't playing tonight. I didn't know if that meant that a trade was like on the horizon for him, or if just that it was truly just injury management. But I did write the preview for OnTap Sportsnet today. And by the way, go support this. I'll put the link in the chat here. But I wrote the preview for tonight's Bulls game, and as you can see here, like there are a lot of guys that are already out, but Kobe White before the game, or at least when I wrote the article, was listed as questionable with right calf injury management, which is just like Kobe's been playing like without a minutes restriction for the past like 4 or 5 games. So I was just kind of shocked to see that this was on the injury report, but here he is. Josh Giddey is not going to play tomorrow. That's already been, I feel like, confirmed, I think. I don't expect to see Giddey, but we'll see what Kobe, like they might just actually keep him out, just to make sure he doesn't get injured before he does eventually get traded here. But I think the Bulls are going to play him personally if he is able to play, but I was just shocked he missed tonight. Either way though, I am very concerned about how the Bulls are handling injuries again, because Giddey got back from the hamstring injury that he missed 11 games for. He comes back, is on a minutes restriction. Billy Donovan blows past that minutes restriction in the first game back. And like he's responding all right. And then in the most recent Heat game though, Giddey, he only played, he was only at his minutes restriction, but there was definitely some talk about him feeling hamstring tightness, and then all of a sudden he's out for tonight's game. So the Bulls had this tweet out from Casey Johnson, which is just like, okay. I hate how this is worded because the Bulls don't want to admit to their mistakes, but this is what was said. Josh Giddey's hamstring is improving, but doesn't sound like he's playing Sunday. Donovan said Giddey will be held out until tightness subsides, which means that basically it's a setback, but they won't call it a setback, and I don't understand why. It's pretty frustrating, honestly. I'm really frustrated with how they have overall handled everything. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Giddey was out for the Miami game. He played in the Pacers game. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, Giddey missed the Miami game in Chicago. He then missed tonight, and he's gonna miss tomorrow. So I'm very scared about how the Bulls have handled injuries all season long. Kobe came back and then obviously re-injured his calf. So I'm very concerned about how they've handled the Giddey injury, because they blew past his minutes restriction in one of the games, and then now he's having hamstring issues again. So I think Giddey, just to be clear, I think Giddey needs to sit out for a while now to make sure he's 100% correct. And then Billy Donovan needs to make sure that when Giddey does come back and he's going to have Giddey back in the rotation, that he does not go past the minutes restriction. That is something that just cannot be done. That has to be like a hard line, like we are not going past this number. So I'm pissed off at Donovan, because like he also blew past Kobe White's minutes restriction when he came back from his calf issues, and like then obviously Kobe got injured later down the road. So it's just like, just don't go past the minutes restriction. It is extremely important right now that the Bulls do not do that. the medical staff is already questionable anyway, but like at least what Donovan could do as coach is listen to them. So I don't expect Giddey to be back at least for like another week or so, just to make sure that the hamstring's really fully right. Honestly, if he misses 2 weeks, I think that's honestly even better. It would fully make sure that like he is right. But don't be surprised if all of a sudden we get like a new update that Giddey's like, oh yeah, he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks, which is just flat out stupid. The Bulls have put themselves in this situation and mishandled the Giddey injury or rehab. So no Giddey tomorrow. Obviously, as we see here from this injury report, if you're wondering, the injury report for teams that just played a game, like if they have like a back-to-back, they don't usually have the injury report out. I'll even show you it. Obviously no Noah Senge. We'll see about Jalen Smith. He was eventually put to as being out for today, obviously, but we'll see about his status. As you can see here is currently the injury report. This is Eastern time, so that's the reason it says 2:15. But the most recent injury report, as you can see here, says the Bulls and he have not yet submitted. That is perfectly in their legal right to do that. They don't have to submit an injury report until later, and obviously now today. It's 1 a.m. now. So I don't have any update, honestly, on these guys. But this is what the injury report was last night before the game happened. Vooch should be back. I'm shocked that he rested tonight when there's all these guys out, but he should be back. So that being said, Trey Jones and Zach Collins should also just be out. These guys are basically confirmed out. With that being said, though, let's say Kobe and Vucevic are back. I'm questionable about Jalen Smith, honestly. I honestly am very concerned how the Bulls are going to look tomorrow. Reason being is that I mean, we'll see what exactly Billy Donovan decides to do, because like if Kobe does start, maybe Io doesn't start. But when I'm looking at the box score for today, I mean, Io played 36 minutes. I think that's honestly a season high for him. So I'm a little bit concerned about his overall, how he's going to feel tomorrow. He did a lot of work tonight. Also, Isaac Okoro also played a lot of minutes. Like, he doesn't usually play this many. So I'm a little bit concerned. So we're going to have to look to the bench to probably provide a boost. And we won't have Javon Carter's three-point shooting, obviously, due to the trade that happened tonight. So look for more minutes from Ulbrich, I think. It'll be good to kind of see that. But if actually, no. Sorry, they don't. I forgot. Patrick Williams will probably just be backup center then. That's going to be interesting to watch. But we'll see if Yuki does get some minutes, even with some guys coming back. I would love to see it. I feel like there's nothing for the Bulls to lose if we play Yuki, just to kind of see how exactly he will be playing, how he plays in back-to-back games. But I understand that Billy Donovan doesn't play his younger players or guys that he hasn't had on the team for too long. So we'll see how many minutes he does end up getting. But other thing that we'll see if Norman Powell's back from Miami, but if Norman Powell is back, that significantly increases their chances of winning the game. He's out for personal reasons, so I hope everything's okay. But he's their leading scorer for the year. So, well, again, I'm sorry I have to say this, but it's just like there's just a bunch of ifs right now, so I don't exactly know who's going to be available for Miami. But yeah, if he's back, that gives Miami a bigger chance of winning, but I don't think he will be back. So, with that being said, I'm going to kind of go off of kind of some stuff that I said in my little preview article here. He are the top of the league in terms of pace. The Bulls are top, or I believe they're fourth right now. So the tempo's going to be fast, and we're going to have to see if the Bulls' legs are there. I know that he also played, but we'll see if the Bulls' legs are there, because we have seen some struggles sometimes in the second half of back-to-back. But I am going to be interested to see how the Bulls respond and like how much energy they're going to have. Because what really helped the Bulls a lot tonight, obviously, was their fast break points. The Bulls are getting out on the fast break and just beating Miami down the floor, especially early on in the game. That helps a lot when you're kind of lacking some overall half-court scoring punch. And so this was a big key factor tonight. I don't think the Bulls are going to get this, though. Again, I'd be kind of shocked if they do. But there's that. And then the other thing is that I don't expect the Heat to shoot 27% from 3-point range again. So I do think the Bulls need to, one, take better care of the basketball. That starts obviously with Buzelis not committing 8 turnovers. Even Io had 5 tonight, which is very abnormal for him. But Kobe, if he is back, like, he can't commit the amount of turnovers that he's usually committing. He's averaging 3 turnovers per game. It's career high. So I'm gonna need to see him be better. But most importantly, I'll wrap it up here. Don't get injured. Okay. I am very concerned about everybody getting injured right now, just because it is the trade deadline, and it's this game, and then the one more game after this for the Bulls, and then we're at the trade deadline. Okay. So it's tonight, and then one more game against the Raptors. Sorry, Milwaukee. Sorry, the Bucks here, and then the trade deadline is this day on February 5th. Okay. The deadline would have passed though, but before this game has started. So all trades will be finalized before this game starts. So it's 2 more games here. Don't get injured. All right. So Billy Donovan, please coach on the side of caution. The last thing we need is someone to get a catastrophic injury right now. Just don't get injured, please. I understand that, you know, some things are out of people's control, but the biggest thing that I am very concerned about right now is just like Kobe coming back tomorrow and just gets injured. And then no team's going to trade for him, obviously, because why would they spend assets to trade for a guy that's currently going to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks? So we do not need that at all. So I hope to see Yuki play tomorrow. I hope to see no one get injured. I want to see if Io DeSumo can take over in the fourth quarter again, honestly. Like, he has just been so incredible these last 3 games in the fourth quarter. He shot 9. Io DeSumo shot 9 for 9 from the field in the second half, by the way, tonight, which is just insane. For any player, honestly, but also just for a guy that's not a star, it's just like, what the hell is that? Again, just please, everyone, just be careful. I'm very concerned. Sorry, I want to just really quickly, before we do end stream here, I'm gonna really quickly I just want to see. All right, I want to see if I can. I want to see Io's numbers in the fourth quarter this year. Because Io's been, like, honestly, like, pretty clutch all season long. Like, he's hit some big threes even when he, like, wasn't, like, running main point guard duties. But he's honestly been pretty solid. Finally. I mean, yeah, like this is pretty good. Like, okay, to be clear, this is like this is quarter points per game, right? I mean, Io in the fourth quarter of the season, though, he's averaging 4.4 points per game, and he's shooting 52% from the field and 45% from 3-point range. Like, that's really good in the fourth, man. It's just incredible just to see this. Compared to, like, first quarter Io. Here. Yeah, it's like, it's a little bit less of a field goal percentage, I guess. So it's still, like, decent, obviously. Like, this is still very good. This is also pretty good overall, but it's just insane just how good he's been. And then, like, second halves now, I just want to see these numbers. Like, like, pretty impressive, man. So, hope to see if Io can also do it again. That'd be very impressive if he could do it again, but he might have to do it again for the Bulls to have a kind of just stay in the game here. But with that being said, though, I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning into tonight's stream. Obviously, we had a big trade, or I guess not a big trade, but a trade that happened that I think is overall a positive trade for the Bulls. Good job going ahead and getting just a couple second round picks for free. That's a good overall decision by the Chicago Bulls to do that. Obviously, the Bulls were able to win tonight in crazy fashion. I could not believe that the Bulls did win tonight. That is absolutely insane of them to do that. But Io was insane to end this game. He was truly like playing like a superstar at the end of this game. I was wondering about Yuki. He's exciting. He is exciting. The problem is, though, is like as exciting as like some of those like small guards are, it's just so hard to like give them like any sort of like extended minutes just because of just his size. Like he can try his hardest on defense, but it's just his lack of size, unfortunately. Like it does really put the defense in a bad spot. Not granted, the Bulls defense is already bad, so which is the reason why to me is like there's no downside of playing him, just playing right now. But yeah, I'm hoping Yuki can definitely like carve out a role for himself. It'll be fun to see if he can last in the NBA, but also last in the Bulls. It's just like a maybe third string point guard or something. It'd be cool if he could get to a backup role at some point. It's so difficult in today's game for small guards. Like, I love Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson's a guy that I'll forever love for his time in Chicago, that 1 year in Chicago. But like even myself can like understand like it's hard to run these small guys out there because of just the lack of defense that they can offer, unfortunately. So I'm looking forward to seeing though if we can get more Yuki minutes. It was fun to watch him tonight. Yeah. Well, that being said, though, thank you guys for tuning into this very long stream. I was not planning on doing this, but obviously a trade happened here. I sincerely appreciate all the support all season long. If you have not already hit the like button on the stream, please do. Helps me out a lot. If you're new to the Bulls channel, like Bulls content, please go ahead and subscribe. We're making Bulls content all season long. I might have a video about this trade out soon, maybe. We'll see. If you have not checked out any of my OnTap Sportsnet content, there's a link to my author profile for OnTap Sportsnet, so go ahead and check that out. I've written, obviously, preview articles, as you can kind of see here, is kind of what I've been mostly doing recently. But I've also been writing a bunch of, like, kind of like, they're called creative articles, but they're, like, analysis articles as well. So you can go ahead and just kind of look at my analysis. I have a lot of stats in there. Including talk about, I assume, his elite efficiency back in November. So his efficiency continues just to be at an insane level. So go check this stuff out if you haven't done so already. Also, just check out OnTap Sportsnet in general. We make content for all the main Chicago sports teams, so please go ahead and check those out if you have the time to do so. Yeah. I'll see you about tomorrow about stream. I have some homework still I gotta get to. I did a lot of homework yesterday. It felt like my entire day was just homework. So I will see about tomorrow. I have some errands to run and homework to do, so I might not be able to stream tomorrow, but we'll see though. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into tonight's stream. Bulls do win it. Ayodasumu just was in superstar mode. Bulls play tomorrow against Miami Heat at 5 p.m. Central Time. So if there is a post-game stream, 7:30 p.m. Central Time on this channel. If not, I'll announce it that there is no stream. I'll let you guys know. But with that being said, everyone, please be safe tonight. And from here on out, please be safe and make sure you stay warm. It is definitely cold out. I'll see you guys whenever, either after the Miami game or after the Milwaukee game. But with that being said, thank you guys so much. Peace out. Bye.